I'm Doug Brown. Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson gets a 5-year contract extension worth $245 million, $165 million guaranteed. That report from ESPN's Adam Schefter. And our Keyshawn Johnson says this deal will help set the market for Lamar Jackson of the Ravens.
Deshaun's deal in Cleveland was an outlier because of the situation in the Cleveland
basically
Browns.
a free agent. Yeah.
So, yeah, they're recorrecting the market. Lamar will come in slightly around $200 million fully guaranteed and not a penny above that.
Keyshawn Johnson on Key J and Max. Adam also reports Titans linebacker Harold Landry III tore an ACL during practice today. He led the team with 12 sacks a year ago and got a new 5-year deal back in March. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports the Cavaliers make a trade with the Jazz to get Donovan Mitchell. Utah will get Lauri Markkanen, Ochai Agbaji, Colin Sexton, and 3 unprotected first-round picks in that trade.
Summer Bonanza means more business in the fall months. Hire right with Indeed. Their integrated solution lets you schedule and conduct video interviews all in one place. Finding your next great hire has never been this easy. Get hiring at Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. Well, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. And I am thrilled to kick off this Thursday edition with Ryan Clark. If Musso has the drop. There it is. Nope. Eventually.
It's time to talk Tigers with former LSU safety Ryan Clark. Presented by DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today.
All right. Stumbled out the gate, but we're on track now. RC, out in the desert. What's good, man?
Oh, man, nothing much, man. Jordan sitting over there talking to his mom. They got a little NFL network in here on the TV. It's very hot, but I think I could take this over the humidity I've been dealing with in VR the last few weeks.
All right, man. Well, look, Arizona State against Northern Arizona tonight. Little Jordan Clark action. Will be locked into that. Hey, RC, I don't know about you, man. Like, you're gonna play at 9:30 or 9 o'clock tonight. I'm gonna be up watching it. I mean, it's just it's football.
Here's what's crazy. You actually don't have to watch. He banged his knee up a couple of weeks ago, so he's not back until next week at Oklahoma State. So get you some rest. I'm just here because I'm a dad.
No, man. It's football. I'm gonna watch anyway. Hey, man. Hey, first and foremost, last time you were here, and I know you're running all over the place, and we appreciate your time. Last time you were here, springtime, pivot was starting to take off, and y'all full on exploded. I want to ask you, how has your life changed since the pivot did what it's been doing?
You know what? It's a crazy dynamic. I think because I'm on ESPN, there was always either people recognize me, they thought I went to their high school or was from their hometown, or they were Steelers fans, and that's kind of what it would be. People would walk up to you, "Hey man, I know you. Where are you from?" And I'd just be like, "I just got one of those faces, man." And eventually, to come out that I work for ESPN. I make them really work to get me there, though. But man, it's been different with the pivot because I think people connect to it in a different way. So now when people walk up to you, they want to bring up Michael Beasley, or they bring up Shaquille O'Neal, they bring up Kevin Hart, and so they kind of just talk about their favorite episodes and what it did for them and why they love it so much. And I think that's been what's different for us. Today, Channing and his wife, filmed with Cameron Hall. He's going to be on their show. We're getting calls, and I don't want to give it away. We just got a random call out of the blue from, I'm just going to say this, a baseball Hall of Famer with one of the most beautiful left-handed swings we've ever seen. That says, "Hey, I want to do the show," and like that's what's just been so crazy about it, man. We are backstage at Kevin Hart, and Jason Tatum just walks by us from the Celtics and just goes, "Hey, man, I ain't good enough to be on the show." And so it's really just become one of those things, man, where you want to keep doing good work. It's obviously a hustle to get to everyone we want to do. But, you kind of called it early. I honestly didn't see it. Like, I didn't necessarily know what we were embarking on, man, but it's been a whole lot of fun.
Oh, it was no doubt. When y'all were about 5-6 episodes in, I was like, oh, this is going to be like a thing. And it's full on. So congrats, man. I when we have time when the season's over, man, I'd love to go deeper dive into all and everything that's
sir.
been. Hey, let's get a few football questions in while we got you for a couple minutes. I don't think, RC, you and I have had this conversation on air yet, so I'm curious your thoughts. It looks like Jaden Daniels is going to be the guy for LSU on Sunday. What you got to see him, obviously, the last couple of years at ASU there with Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
What is LSU getting in Jaden Daniels, provided he is the guy on Sunday?
He is super duper talented, man. Like, honestly, Jaden Daniels, after his freshman year, and this is honesty for me, I said at ESPN, getting ready to do Get Up, he's going to be a Heisman finalist one day. Jaden Daniels was the reason I was wrong about Justin Herbert. I got an opportunity to watch Justin Herbert in his last year at Oregon face Jaden Daniels, and Jaden just totally outplayed him, showed up bigger in important clutch moments, made huge plays to win the game. And I was like, if this dude is a top 10 pick, Justin Herbert, then Jaden Daniels is going to win the Heisman one day. I think it was some of the lack of continuing to put people around him. I want to say he had 2 or 3 different offensive coordinators, but from a standpoint of what he can do with his legs, arm strength, he has everything he needs to be successful. And hopefully, LSU, with the way that they've worked the transfer portal, obviously already having guys like Kayshawn, and just giving him opportunities to have weapons to utilize, I think he'll do really well at LSU. But I also know LSU is different, right? There was never going to be any pressure on Jaden to play better, to be anything different, because there was no one else to put in the game if you were at Arizona State that could give you that level of play. Obviously, with Nuss behind him, as talented as he is, as big time of a player that he is, I think that pressure is going to allow Jaden to actually elevate his game, because he does understand, unlike being at Arizona State, there are options.
RC, on Sunday, oddly enough, we might see another Arizona State transfer. It's just the nature of college football now. And Johnny Wilson, who's a receiver now for Florida State, big 6'7" kid. He had a 51-yard reception on Saturday against Duquesne. I think got tweaked a little, but it sounds like he's going to play. Florida State's really lacking big-time options. What about Johnny Wilson? What can you tell us about him?
Oh, no, Johnny's a player, man. Johnny was one of those steals, for Arizona State. One of those kids that's not really supposed to go to school there, a top 50, light player. Many thought the Oregons and schools like that were going to get him. He was banged up a little bit at Arizona State. Early on, had a little case of the drops, but he's just one of those uniquely talented receivers. Long arms, huge catch radius, big body, strong. He is a guy that can threaten you deep, but to me, it's more of what he can do in the intermediate routes and continue to keep the chains moving. Also, yards after the catch, because when someone is that size, you got to want to tackle. You got to want to get them on the ground. And so I do think that's going to be the challenge, for a secondary at LSU that is, largely inexperienced in the sense of playing with one another. Obviously, you have guys who've played a lot of football in other places, but they haven't necessarily played with the group that they will be playing with on Sunday in the Dome.
Ryan Clark's with us. He's on Twitter at RealRClark25. Convo's brought to you by DraftKings every Thursday. Of course, check out The Pivot if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe up over on YouTube. Just incredible work there. RC, there's also been this conversation, just a couple more, also been this conversation about who has the benefit of having played. What you just said there I think was very interesting about the secondary. All of LSU's corners are either 5th or 6th year guys.
Yes.
So a lot of old veteran guys, but like you said, haven't played together. Who benefits more? Florida State having had the game or LSU having the film of Florida State and a little bit of the element of surprise?
You know, I think the element of surprise is always good, but I'll take the reps over surprise, right? I'll take the opportunity to play with one another over you don't know what we're going to be, what we're going to do. You know, if I'm game planning Duquesne, I don't necessarily believe I'm going to show a lot if I'm the Florida State Seminoles anyway. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously you'll know a little bit about the personnel. You have seen them play. But I think, you know, if you're at Florida State, you feel good about knowing who in your room can do what, knowing who you can count on in what situations or in what areas, whereas LSU is going to be figuring out those things on the run. And by the way, with a new head coach, I think when you look at Brian Kelly, you know, and I've said this a million times, the one thing the man understands how to do is coach football, right? He understands winning football games. And Brian Kelly has been in some positions throughout his career where maybe his talent on his football team didn't necessarily say that they were going to win 10 games, that they were going to win 11 games, but he found ways to do it. I think he's going to have to work some of that magic here at LSU. I think in the future he wins a national championship, an SEC championship, because he's that good of a coach. And, well, hell, everybody wins one at LSU at some point. You know, like just being honest, you know what I mean? Like, you know, Les had such a dysfunctional, you know, organization or university or team when he was there. It got him fired from his new job.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, is the same, but both of those guys win national championships. Both of those guys coach incredibly competitive teams. So I think Brian gets there, but I would have rather, if I was him, get one of those games under my belt where you understand you're going to win, you can try things, work on certain things, kind of see what you have before you step up to these Power 5 type universities.
He is Ryan Clark, KRC. Before you go, and man, especially on a game day there, flying out to Arizona for jumping on a call with us quickly. Ryan's run this weekend. Can you give us the deets?
Yeah, we're excited about it. It's going to start early Saturday morning downtown, and you know you can go online right now. Also, brsicklecell.com and .org, and you can register there. You can obviously donate without being at the run, but we're going to have food trucks. We're going to have DJs. It's going to be a good time. It's more a party than a run anyway because I ain't running. But, you know, we look forward to seeing everybody out there.
If you can walk or run, you can do it. And if not, there's a virtual option as well if you want to make a donation. So I'll go ahead and share out all the link on all of our station socials and everything as well so people can get involved. Man, we appreciate it, RC. Best to the fam. We'll look forward to seeing you soon, man.
My man, have a good one.
All right, that's Ryan Clark on Twitter at RealRClark25. Conversations with RC every Thursday, courtesy of DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook today. Great time. College football starting. We'll go place your wagers. You can do it at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Okay, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, big story. Marcus Maye arrested earlier today. Not that there's ever a good time, but the timing is impossibly awful. We'll talk about it when we return on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Check it out or download the Rouse's app. Remember, you got curbside or delivery options. I'm going to remind you of this Saturday, Sunday. Game day is Sunday. This Sunday, Rouse's on Barone. If you're going to be in New Orleans, that's where Eagle 98.1 Game Day will originate. For the rest of the season, Eagle 98.1 Game Day will be at Rouse's on Burbank in Baton Rouge. But this Sunday, Rouse's on Barone. Hanny and Musso host an Eagle 98.1 Game Day. T-Bob and I will have an appearance at Rouse's on Barone Sunday from 1 to 3. So you want to come on out and say hi, we'd love to see you. Remember, for your game watch, for your tailgate, whatever it is, you need all your items, delivery and pickup options available right now with your own personal shopper at Rouse's. So go to Rouse's.com or download the Rouse's app. Rouse's, this feels like home.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, thanks again to Ryan Clark for joining us. Interesting comments on both Jaden Daniels and I just keep calling him Johnny, the big receiver from Johnny Wilson, the big receiver from Florida State. It was a couple of Arizona State players who've transferred are going to be playing on opposite teams this weekend with LSU and Florida State. If you missed it, you catch it on demand on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel or however you get your podcast. Just search After Further Review. All right, well, and there is never, ever a good time to have a player arrested. But in particular, this week, just 2 days after the Saints trade Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to the Philadelphia Eagles, safety Marcus Maye was arrested and in an alleged assault with a firearm incident. According to the police report, this happened in Jefferson Parish, was in Metairie, and they're conducting, the sheriff's office there is Jefferson's Parish Sheriff's Office is conducting an investigation to determine what exactly happened. But apparently it was, it happened, the alleged incident was an alleged road rage incident, which happened on Monday. Maye was arrested this morning, Thursday morning, obtained for his arrest 1 count of aggravated assault with a firearm. Marcus Maye has been identified as the driver of a black SUV involved in the incident, where he's accused of pointing a firearm at another vehicle that was occupied by several juvenile females. For what it is worth, and I want to be very clear that we do live in the United States of America, where there is a presumption of innocence until guilt is proven by the accuser. So I'm not going to convict Marcus Maye here on this radio show until he has his day in court, an opportunity to defend himself. Marcus Maye's attorney, Eric Hessler, spoke to Tom Pelissero and gave this statement. I'll read it. Quote, Marcus vehemently denies the allegations from a motor vehicle incident and looks forward to defending himself when all the factors come out. Brief statement, but so Marcus Maye is vehemently denying any wrongdoing, and he'll have his day in court, or however these proceedings may take place. Dennis Allen, after the Saints practiced on Thursday, did have this to say when he was asked about the Marcus Maye arrest.
We were made aware of it this morning, and we're still gathering all the information. And so, we're really not going to have a comment on it at this time until we get more information.
So as you would expect Dennis Allen to say. Okay, so a couple of things. First, the timing is terrible. It's just 2 days after you trade Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to the Eagles. And when you look at and this is part of the reason you are comfortable with that trade. You were comfortable with that trade because you had Tyron, you had Marcus Maye, you feel good about your outside cornerbacks, and then you also had Bradley Roby and great depth with Alontae Taylor, P.J. Williams. So you felt really good about your secondary. Well, this is not to suggest that Marcus Maye will certainly miss time, but remember, he was already potentially facing a suspension because of his DUI arrest this spring. He had been arrested, charged with DUI, and of course with the NFL's personal conduct policy, there's a likelihood that Marcus Maye is going to miss time because of that anyway from the incident in 2021. That's still going through the court system. Now that has to rectify itself, so we'll see. Similar to what happened last year with the Marshawn Lattimore arrest. So, and of course, Lattimore did not end up serving a suspension. Yeah, it's on one hand very disappointing as well when you have a guy who battled back from injury, where he had the Achilles injury last year. He battles back from that. The Saints see Marcus Williams leave in free agency. They sign Marcus Maye and Tyrann Mathieu after Malcolm Jenkins retired. So you've got these two new starting safeties. You're trying to build continuity, and then this happens, and it's it is fair to say, like, is this is Marcus Maye a problem? I don't know. I can't tell you that I know Marcus Maye or much about him outside of what we know and what we're told. But the Saints have worked so hard to build this culture that we talk about all the time, and really they had to do it twice. When Sean Payton first got here, they shipped out a lot of veterans who were sort of entitled and weren't buying in. And then after the back-to-back 7 and 9 seasons, they did it again when you saw them ship out guys like Jimmy Graham and Kenny Stills and Junior Gillette. And it was all about bringing in guys and sort of reestablishing that great culture internally. And they've worked so hard to protect that. It's hard to believe that they would go sign a guy like Marcus Maye without doing their due diligence to make sure they knew the type of guy that they were bringing in the locker room. But now you see the DUI arrest. Now you see this arrest, and it's like that's 2 arrests in a calendar year. It's, it's no longer a one-off. It's worth questioning and wondering if this is a bigger problem with Marcus Maye. And I want to reiterate, of course, he is entitled to his day in court. So, we'll see how this may all play out and be rectified. But when you specifically look at that defensive backfield now, because I guess in some respect you have to think about it with the possibility of Marcus Maye not being there if this does lead to any type of discipline from the league. You'd certainly love to have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I mean, that goes without saying, but that's not an option anymore. And what you do have are a couple of guys that have played a ton of football. This obviously doesn't change what you are on the outside with Marshawn Lattimore and with Paulson Adebo, who by all accounts, by his own words, kind of smugly said that he's day-to-day on Wednesday. It certainly seems like he's going to be ready to go week one. And then you have Bradley Roby as your nickel, and then you drafted Alontae Taylor, who Dennis Allen talked about today. We'll hear that in just a second. But now when you look back at the safety spots, you do have P.J. Williams, who, when there have been injuries so far in camp, or when Tyron missed time, P.J. Williams dropped back and played safety. And look, P.J.'s played 78 games in his career. He's entering year 7 in the league, all with the Saints. He knows this defense. They know him. There's a comfort level there because they keep bringing him back. They drafted him in the 5th round, and I think we learned quickly he was never going to be an outside cornerback like he was at Florida State, but he's done really well in the slot and at safety. Nickel and dime packages, he's been really settled in as the dime back in this defense, but he's started 31 games in his career. So you have a really veteran player that can probably play safety for you in a pinch if you need it. And then Daniel Sorensen, who is is entering year 9. He's played in 111 games. He started 39 times. And remember, he was in Kansas City with Tyron, so those two have played together, and there's some synergies. So if it comes to that, you at least have a couple of options there that are veteran options. That's kind of what you're lacking at linebacker, right? I mean, we know you feel really good about Demario Davis, and provided Pete Werner gets healthy from this groin injury and is ready to go, you feel good about your first 2. The depth is the question. Now at safety, you feel good about the depth you have there, but it's potentially going to be challenged even further. But there is the big question about Alontae Taylor, and everything that happened with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson did kind of point to maybe why they were willing to invest a second-round pick in Alontae Taylor, thinking that they may have a contract issue with Chauncey and they might lose that player. And so they got a guy that they really liked in Alontae Taylor and whom they may need even more quickly than they had anticipated. And Dennis Allen talked about Alontae Taylor when he met with reporters on Thursday.
I liked where he was at prior to the injury. Hadn't seen a lot of him since then. He's moving around really well, the last couple of days. So I'm confident in his ability. But certainly wish we hadn't lost that developmental time.
It speaks to what is a reality in the NFL and in football, is that your depth is tested. It's why depth is so important. When we talk about the Saints team, we like the Saints roster. I think we all agree that we like the Saints' first 5 offensive line. We like Alvin Kamara. Of course, the receivers go. We like David Onyemata. We like Cam Jordan. The question is your depth. What happens if those guys go down? Who's next? And great depth is a luxury not many teams have in the NFL. But that's why I always obsess over training camp and the preseason, because roster spots 51, 52, 53. I mean, that's what this is. I mean, that's when you lose a linebacker, who comes out onto the field. When you lose a safety, is J.T. Gray or Justin Evans able to go play Sunday football and not miss a beat? Last year, when you have a guard go down and you have to put Calvin Throckmorton in there, can he perform? You got an answer to the affirmative on that a year ago. That's why those spots matter so much. And depth is already being tested in the secondary, but we'll see what happens here with the Marcus Maye situation. It's concerning. It certainly is concerning because this is 2 incidents in a year now for Marcus Maye, and you hope there's not more. It's concerning because you just shipped out Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and now another guy in the secondary is facing potentially being away from the field. Hopefully, and I'm not trying to diminish what is alleged to have happened, but we're a sports show and we don't have any more details than what we've shared. Hopefully it's a misunderstanding. It gets rectified and he's able to go on with his life. Nobody was hurt. And you get to go, he plays football and that's it. But, it makes you at least consider what possibilities are out there here with this Marcus Maye arrest. So as it develops, we'll certainly keep you posted here. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by our friends over at Schutz Electric, CESofLA.com, CESofLA.com. If you haven't done so yet, boy, it has been a quiet August, thankfully, as far as the tropics and storms. But you never know. And even sometimes in Louisiana, hard rain, high winds could knock power out. Don't get stuck in the dark. Shoots Electric. Let them install a home standby generator. Your power goes out. No worries. Shoots Electric. Your home standby generator. That Generac powers on, powers your entire house. Shoots Electric. CESofLA.com. Go to the website. Request an estimate. It's affordable. Financing is available. Don't ever get stuck in the dark again. Don't ever wait in long lines for gas or ice again. Let Shoots Electric take care of it with a home standby generator. CESofLA.com. CESofLA.com. All right, we'll go around the SEC when we come back. And in 15 minutes, we will debut this year's Fantasy Blitz. So if you've had your fantasy draft or getting ready for week one, whatever it may be, you got a fantasy football question, get it in. Our buddy Darin Tietgen, I don't know, we're coming up on like 10 years of that segment now. I have to go back and check how long it's been, but it's been a hot minute. We're glad to have Darin back with us on Thursdays throughout this football season for your Fantasy Blitz. So if you got fantasy football questions, get them in. We'll get to Darin in about 15 minutes from right now. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, we'll go around the SEC. Stay here.
AFR.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Football season is finally here. Don't forget to make your picks for this weekend's games. The 2022 1045 ESPN Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em at 1045ESPN.com. Weekly winners receive a $50 Twin Peaks gift card, and the first place season-long champion will receive a 75-inch 4K flat-screen TV. It's the 2022 1045 ESPN Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, seen a few.
By the way, you have 90 minutes, actually less than that, to make your picks here for week one. The picks have to be made by Thursday at 5 o'clock Central to get in for the games. There are some games today. So if you haven't done so yet and you want to play, look, you can always join later in the season and be eligible for the weekly prize. But if you want to win the season-long prize, which is the 75-inch TV, you said?
75-inch 4K.
4K, 75-inch TV. That's for the season-long champion. You obviously have to make your picks each week. So you have until 5 o'clock Central. So it's 3:36. So go to 1045ESPN.com. You'll see it right there on the homepage for the college football pick'em contest presented by Twin Peaks. So go make your picks now if you've not done so yet. Like I'm giving you permission right now to leave the show temporarily to go to 1045ESPN.com to make your picks. You got a ton of games tonight, more than a dozen games tonight, as a matter of fact. Some Power 5 teams in action, some ranked teams in action. 12th ranked Oklahoma State is at home against Central Michigan. The backyard brawl is rekindled. West Virginia is at Pitt. That's a 7.5-point line with Pitt being favored. Pitt, of course, replacing Kenny Pickett, replacing Jordan Addison, replacing their OC, Mark Whipple. West Virginia under Neil Brown has not really hit their stride, but a couple of former USC quarterbacks in that one with JT Daniels at West Virginia, Keaton Slovis at Pitt. I'm interested. I actually think West Virginia might have a little bit of an uprising in them for this ball game. I think that's going to be a lot closer than many might anticipate. Tennessee will open up the SEC schedule. They play Ball State on the SEC Network. Missouri is also at home tonight against Louisiana Tech. So you got a couple of SEC teams in action. And then I guess the biggest one on the marquee tonight is Penn State at Purdue. You got a Big Ten game on Fox. So Penn State's a 3.5-point road favorite in that game. Boy, it really feels like James Franklin's got a lot riding on that game from when they had a really good season a couple of years ago. And then you look at how they sort of fell apart last year despite him getting the big 10-year contract. It's this is the kind of game, if you're James Franklin, I would equate it to LSU in Arkansas, where there is a pecking order, there's a hierarchy, and you need to maintain that order. And you expect to beat Arkansas because you're a better team, a better program with better history and more resources and all that stuff. Like LSU expects to beat Arkansas. You're not going to beat them every year, but you expect to. That's kind of how this is with Penn State and Purdue, even if it's on the road. So 7 o'clock on Fox. We'll see how that one goes tonight. I'll certainly be locked in. Then if you missed, Ryan Clark was with us in hour number one. The nightcap is that's going to be interesting. We'll see how many people make it. But you got a couple of late games, a couple of West Coast games. 9 o'clock on the Pac-12 network, Arizona State against Northern Arizona. At 9:30 on FS1, you got Fresno State against Cal Poly. Also at 9:30, you've got San Jose State against Portland State. This will test how much of a degenerate you really are. Are you willing to watch Cal Poly against Fresno State with a 9:30 p.m. Central Time kickoff on FS1? You in?
41-point spread, too, in that game in favor of Fresno State.
You know what? I watched every snap of Florida State Duquesne.
Yeah?
It helped that I had Duquesne in the 42. So I may be interested. Yeah, I may actually be interested in that.
Fresno State got the quarterback returning this year, so
the quarterback.
Yeah, Hayner's his name.
Yeah, they got the quarterback.
The quarterback returning.
Random tidbit about Fresno State or Cal Poly.
Pretty good.
Insert here. Can you tell me anything else
That's all I
about
got.
That's it?
Ronnie Rivers is gone. Their Fresno State's running back. He went to the NFL.
There it is. We got it.
Yeah. I got nothing on Cal Poly.
We got the breakdown. Do you know their mascot?
The Mustangs.
There it is.
Their mascot's the Mustangs.
How about that?
They probably play in the Big West, if I had to guess.
Big Sky. Big Sky.
Darn.
That's where they are. All right, it's after further review. Imbibe tonight on football. Today starts 5 straight days of college football all the way through Monday when you get Clemson and Georgia Tech. All right, brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. That's Shaw Bills with 17 locations. Find that location nearest you. If you're heading down to the Dome on Sunday, before you do, if you need the air pressure in your tires checked, if you need your tires rotated, your oil changed, the check engine lights on, the brakes are squeaking, bring it to Shaw Bills. Any of their 17 locations across South Louisiana, ShawBillsTire.com to schedule service or shop tires. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. All right, Fantasy Blitz is coming up, but first, let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Tennessee Volunteers.
Tennessee kicks off the SEC slate tonight against Ball State. Vols are a 34.5-point favorite. This is the first meeting between the two schools. Tennessee next week is at number 17 Pitt, so a little tune-up tonight on Rocky Top. Both teams ended last season with a bowl loss. Tennessee unveiling some changes there at Neyland, new video boards, and also a new end zone deck area in the north end zone, similar to a sports bar. So check that out tonight.
The Missouri Tigers.
As we mentioned, Louisiana Tech and Sonny Cumbie visit Mizzou tonight. That's a 7 o'clock Central kick on ESPNU. Missouri's a 19.5-point favorite. It's the first meeting between the two schools. Missouri next week has a former Big 12 showdown against Kansas State in Manhattan. Louisiana Tech trying to rebuild after a 3-9 season. Of course, Skip Holtz out, Sonny Cumbie in. Mizzou breaking in its 5th starting quarterback in 5 years in Brady Cook. You think LSU had a lot of turnover? Mizzou has 50 new players from last season, 31 freshmen and 19 transfers.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Gamecock special teams coordinator Pete Lembo said there are still some jobs up for grab. Their starting punter Kai Kroger has a foot injury, so they're still trying to see who's going to punt until he comes back. Place kicking competition ongoing. Mitch Jeter is the kickoff guy, but Jeter and Alex Herrera battling for the place kicking job since spring. Both did kick last season. Remains to be seen who's going to win that job for Carolina.
The Florida Gators.
And how about this? Florida's game against LSU on October 15th at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium officially sold out. It is just the second sellout of the season. Of course, the Utah game was announced earlier this week as a sellout. LSU has won 3 straight in the series. Of course, last year in Baton Rouge, 49-42. A series that was once dominated by Florida with Steve Spurrier's reign of terror. The all-time series record right now is at 33, 32, and 3, with Florida holding a 1-game edge. LSU could draw even with the Gators all-time if they win it this year, and it will be in front of a sellout crowd in the Swamp. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. 45 years in business at Gulf Coast Office Products, and for the last 20, they've been the official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, a corporate partner of LSU Athletics for 20 years now. It's Gulf Coast Office Products. You know where to find them, gcopnet.com. That's gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale, that's where you'll get them. Gulf Coast Office Products, the official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the ULL Ragin' Cajuns. All right, y'all, it's about that time. We are 1 week away from NFL kickoff. Incredible. 1 week from today. Fantasy football, it's almost here. Our Fantasy Blitz returns. Darin Tietgen joins us next. Got any questions? If you've had your draft or you're setting your roster, fire away. Email us, tweet us, jump in the Bayou Forward YouTube chat, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. The Fantasy Blitz is next.
AFR.
Kids have staked out their place at Ochsner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well. Yes! It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Ochsner Health Center for Children.
Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. After further review, this is the Fantasy Football Blitz.
Do you know who I am?
Powered by whotostart.com.
Who the hell are you?
whotostart.com.
Hello.
The Fantasy Football Blitz.
Who the pittance?
This is the Fantasy Football Blitz, powered by whotostart.com on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 104.5ESPN.com.
And we've been running that intro for damn near a decade now. Darin Tietgen's back for more. Great to talk to you, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to be back.
I mean, it's our pleasure. We appreciate it. By now, you should know the drill. You got fantasy football questions. Fire away for Darin, who joins us via the jimsfirearms.net phone lines. Email us, tweet us, jump in the Bayou Forward YouTube chat, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Darin, let's start with some obvious. Right, week one, the NFL kickoff is a week from tonight. Most people, I would assume, have had their drafts by now. For people who are still kind of looking around, sleepers, things like that, what you got for us?
Yeah, I tried to target a couple sleepers in the three main categories: quarterback, running back, wide receiver. Quarterback, you could, if you're still looking to draft, you could wait on your quarterback. You get a guy like Justin Fields or Trey Lance, one of these younger running quarterbacks later in the draft. Or if you want to go with a veteran, Derek Carr is going criminally low in drafts right now, and he's, with his new set of weapons, going to throw for a ton of yards, ton of touchdowns. So love him as a fantasy quarterback. Running backs, a couple of names that are hot right now. Dameon Pierce, who looks like he's going to be the main runner for Houston. Even though Houston's going to be kind of a terrible team, he's going to touch the ball a lot. So like him in PPR leagues quite a bit. A couple other guys, especially in PPR, are Nyheim Hines and Kenneth Gainwell. Look like they're going to be the pass-catching backs for their respective teams. So if you're looking to add some bench depth, those two guys will really help you out. And then in terms of wide receivers, we're really looking at a guy like Brandon Ayuk to take a major step forward. Even with Fields, or excuse me, with Trey Lance at the helm, look for Ayuk to have a big week or a big season. And then also Michael Gallup, he's probably going to start the season on the bench just because he's coming back from injury, but they're not going to put him on the PUP list, so which means he can come back as early as week 2 probably. And the number 2 wide receiver for the Cowboys is going to put up some points. And then finally, someone cheap that you can get late in your draft is a guy like Marvin Jones Jr., who will probably be the number 1 target, or at least number 2 target for an improving Trevor Lawrence.
All right. If you've got questions, you know the drill. Fire away for Darin. Let's start. This one's from Tony, who said, proposed trade offer to me, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Parker for Kareem Hunt and Chris Olave that is in a PPR league. What do you think, Darin?
That doesn't sound like a too out of a deal. I mean, obviously it's going to depend on the rest of your roster and what that means to your starters. But on paper, that looks like a pretty good deal.
Brennan Thibodeau said, who to start? Should I start Cameron Hayward for my D-line or look to get someone else off waiver claims?
Again, I mean, the IDP leagues are really, quite unique, and you want a guy that's going to, get a lot of tackles. But if you're in a league that rewards for sacks, Hayward is one of those D linemen that are pretty consistent. So in terms of a normal IDP league, he looks like he's probably a decent week 1 start.
Clark Dennis said, who's the best flex option? He's got Penny, Amari Cooper, and Melvin Gordon.
Until Kenneth Walker supplants Rashad Penny for the Seattle's number 1 running back position, I'm going all in on Penny because of the way he finished last year. So I would plug Penny in, and hopefully Pete Carroll runs with the vet rather than the rookie.
Jordan Lacombe said, do you think Dameon Pierce is being overhyped?
Nope, I don't think so. I mean, they cut Marlon Mack. I think they may be bringing him back for the practice squad, but all he's going to be competing for carries and targets is going to be Rex Burkhead, who's like 32 years old and is really just kind of a journeyman plug-in, every couple series type of player. So, yeah, Pierce is definitely worth the hype.
Adam Whidden said, why the hate for Miles Sanders? Dude averaged 5 yards a carry last season and is in trouble of losing his starting role.
Yeah, I mean, he's been battling some injuries. I think it was a hamstring injury. Then obviously a hamstring injury is not something that you want to come into the season with as a running back that relies on the cut through the line like he does. And also Kenneth Gainwell, and both Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott actually have been looking good in spot duty. So if you're a Sanders owner, I hope you have him backed up with Gainwell.
Got a couple more minutes here with Darin Tietgen, who2start.com. It's a numeral 2, who2start.com. Get to the website. It's personalized fantasy football advice. You can ask your individual question. They'll get it answered for you. Drake Poisson said, ask Darin, thoughts on Gabe Davis this year in that Bills offense?
Yeah, he's, he finished last year strong. Obviously with Stephon Diggs on the other side, he's going to face a lot of single coverage, a lot of the number 2 coverage, if you will. So looking for that offense to put up some points. And Gabe Davis really came through with the touchdowns, and we expect him to continue to progress and be a solid wide receiver for fantasy teams.
Less than a minute, Darian Wesson said Lamar Jackson, Derek Carr, or Aaron Rodgers.
If you're looking, for the entire season, I think Lamar Jackson's probably going to be your best bet. He's going to be playing for a contract unless he gets something signed here in the next week. So he's going to be really stepping it up, and we like the fact that Mark Andrews is there, Rashad Bateman's there. Yeah, he did lose Hollywood Brown, but he's going to put up some fantasy points for you. And then obviously Derek Carr was one of our three sleepers that we started the show with, and he's going to be putting up some points as well. So that's not a bad 1-2 combo. And if you're looking to make a trade, maybe Rodgers, you dangle him out there for some other owner to pick up.
He is Darin Tietgen. We appreciate it. We'll do it next week.
Sounds good, Matt.
See you, man.
AFR.
All right, we appreciate Darin. Looking forward to having him with us here all throughout the football season on Thursdays for the Fantasy Blitz. And we always appreciate the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffery in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. If you want to look and feel like your younger self, you could certainly do that with the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana. And, of course, I'll remind you that they always have great specials. Every month, they always have great monthly specials. And with this being back to school, there's great back to school specials right now for teachers, if that's you or maybe your significant other. $100 off filler, $12.50 a unit on wrinkle relaxant. If the kids are driving you nuts in class, you may very well need wrinkle relaxant. How about the facial discoloration? You get sometimes those brown, red, or discolored spots on your face, arms, chest. You can buy 2 treatments, get 1 free all this month at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside, off the bench, Hunt and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Breaking news from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. The Cleveland Cavaliers get guard Donovan Mitchell in a trade with the Jazz. Utah will get Lauri Markkanen, Ochai Agbaji, Colin Sexton, and 3 unprotected first-round picks. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson will get a 5-year, $245 million extension. And ESPN's Stephen A. Smith says the Broncos had to get this done.
You know you can depend on him. You know you can trust him. You know he knows how to act and conduct himself. You know he knows how to lead. You combine that with his level of production, and then you take into account the absence of production you've had from the quarterback position. Since Peyton Manning retired, there is nothing to talk about.
Stephen A. Smith on First Take. Schefter also reports the Titans will sign wideout Josh Gordon to their practice squad. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports tight ends running back Derrick Henry will get a restructured deal that'll pay him $14 million this year, including a $9 million signing bonus.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
If I'm Lamar, I'm saying 250. I need it fully guaranteed.
Not gonna happen. They are now recorrecting the quarterback market.
It's Friday with KJ and Max. It all starts at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
I am sweating.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, Muse, kill it, please. Zalance Heard is right now about to commit, the offensive lineman from Neville. He put up a Florida State hat, put up a Nebraska hat. That would be a Jackson State hat. He's down to Florida or LSU. He grabs the Florida hat, puts it down. He put down the LSU hat. Jesus. He had another LSU hat in his pocket. And they already had the graphic made. That he's
There you have it, everybody.
And he's got an LSU shirt on.
Lance Heard's going to be a Tiger.
It was... no, you can let me hear that audio to see what else they're going to say if he's going to speak.
What a moment. What a moment. Everybody's got their cell phones out and everything else, and... Man, Lance, let's talk about this here. Maybe one of the biggest decisions of your life, and you made it here in front of your teammates and family. How's it feel to finally get this off your chest?
Well, it feels great. I mean, it's been a long time coming.
Long time coming, and you did the LSU. Will Campbell is down there right now, about to be the starting left tackle for the Tigers, and you're going to hopefully join him next year. You think you might be that right tackle or left tackle? What are you thinking about?
I'm not sure. We'll see when we get there.
See when we get there. Look, hey, a lot of challenges, not only through this high school season, but everything else. I'm sure there's a lot of excited Tiger fans out there. What do you got to say to Tiger Nation? Nothing much. They know. They know. Right there. Look, we appreciate everybody for coming out here this afternoon.
Zalance Heard has committed to LSU. He is, look, man, is that not the definition of he does his talking on the field? I mean,
I like it. Let's go.
He did not have much to say.
They know.
So Zalance Heard is an LSU Tiger. He is committed today. Shea Dixon's going to be with us at the bottom of the hour. Shea is out of hibernation. If you've not heard, Shea Dixon joined on 3. He's been on everybody's show today. So I texted Shea. I'm like, hey, Zalance Heard's committing at 4. Come on after that. I mean, you've been on everybody else's show today. Come on mine too. So we'll talk to Shea, get some reaction to all this. You'll find out about what Shea's up to right now. So Zalance Heard now part of LSU's class, which they're up to 22 commitments now. Heard is one of the highest-ranked prospects in the country. He is, LSU will now have their bookend tackles from Neville next year with Will Campbell already there, and then Zalance Heard. We, as we've talked so much about Brian Kelly coming to Baton Rouge and putting a fence around the state, and would he get the best players in the state to stay home? And he continues checking those boxes. You got Shelton Sampson, obviously, which was a big fish, and then he's continued to go from there. Ricky Collins and Tyree Adams down in New Orleans, and Kylan Jackson from Zachary, and now Zalance Heard, as big as any of them. So Zalance Heard is, if you're just looking at the ratings in the 247 composite, which is the composite is sort of the industry standard where they average out the ranking of all the of rivals in 247 and on 3 and all of them. At your scout. So Zalance Heard, the number 54 overall prospect in the country, the number 6 offensive tackle, the 4th best player in the state of Louisiana. He is a high 4-star. So Zalance Heard becomes commit number 22 for Brian Kelly and this staff at LSU. Again, ranked the 54th best player in the country. When you look at the 22 commits now, as the 54th best player in the country, he becomes the 3rd highest ranked prospect in the class behind Shelton Sampson, who's 42nd, Jalen Brown, the receiver out of Miami, who's 48. Mentioned Heard is 54. Deshaun Womack out of Maryland is 57. And then Jackson Howard is 97th in the country. So you now have 5 top 100 prospects in this class. I know there's a narrative about Brian Kelly not recruiting. I know there's the conversation, the narrative about Brian Kelly being a lazy recruiter and all of that. What I would say is one thing that successful coaches do is they identify wherever their weakness is and fill their staff with people who can make up where they're for their shortcoming, whatever that may be. And I don't know if Brian Kelly is a great recruiter or not. Quite honestly, I don't care. The thing that Brian Kelly did that was most important when he was hired, aside from bringing structure and stability into the organization, the thing he did was most important and most self-aware was hire Louisiana staff members. He brought Frank Wilson here. We all know Frank is Louisiana high school football royalty. He brought in Cortez Hankton, who had been at Georgia, had some great relationships, but also is from New Orleans. Brad Davis retained him. He's a Baton Rouge guy, went to Bel Air. He went and got Joe Sloan from Louisiana Tech, who was recruiting the northern part of the state, but also up there at Tech, but also his territory that he recruited was Baton Rouge, New Orleans. So just very, very self-aware the way he assembled this staff with people who know this state, and not just the on-field assistants, but also the recruiting staff as well. And you see a lot of those guys on Twitter, and there's guys and gals, there's too many of them to name, but that's maybe the most impactful thing Brian Kelly has done so far, is how he assembled his staff, which has allowed him to build this class around the best players in the state. And listen, they're still going after Derek Williams, the safety who's committed to Texas. I think we all understand they have their quarterback, and realistically Arch Manning and Eli Holstein, you were never going to be in on those guys, but you got Shelton Sampson. You've got Zalance Heard now. You got 8. This is 9 players in your class now from Louisiana. You are picking. You picked up Caleb Jackson. You got Kylan Jackson. You got Tyree Adams, like I mentioned. You got Ricky Collins out of Woodlawn. So Kai Preon, who we talked about a couple of weeks ago, Trey Holly, the running back out of Union Parish. They have been cleaning up in the state, and it's just that's the key to building championship rosters at LSU, is get the best players in Louisiana to stay home. And today was another big step in doing that with Zalance Heard. So Shea Dixon's going to be with us in about 20 minutes from right now, bottom of the hour. We'll talk to Shea about Zalance Heard, the class, all that good stuff, and what's next for our buddy Shea. That's all coming up about 20 minutes. Mike Triplett's going to be here in hour number 3. We will resume our Thursday chats with Mike Triplett to talk Saints and some significant news today in New Orleans with Marcus Maye being arrested. If you haven't heard that news yet, we'll get the latest from Mike Triplett. Also, Trevor Penning and Malcolm Roach have gone to IR. So with them being on IR, that obviously frees up some roster spots. Dwayne Washington, if you missed it, it was a little surprising when the corresponding roster move yesterday for the Saints was to cut Dwayne Washington. But because he is a vested veteran, he did not have to go to IR. To wait through the waiver process. So the Saints essentially. And by the way, he is back now on the 53-man roster. As a matter of fact, Nick Underhill tweeted this just a bit ago. So Dwayne Washington was essentially told by the Saints, hey, look, we're going to cut you real quick to make room for this guy who we're going to sign, but just don't go anywhere. When these players go to IR, then we'll have roster spots. We'll bring you right back. So you see that often. I mean, the Saints did that with Will Clapp so many times, where he was cut and then signed right back. And a lot of times you just have to do that to shuffle the roster to make room for guys. It's just procedural. But that's actually very reassuring, because the fact that the Saints had cut Dwayne Washington, you're sitting there thinking, man, are they really going to go with 3 running backs? It just doesn't make sense, especially for a guy like Dwayne Washington, who was so good on special teams also, that this makes a lot more sense. So Dwayne Washington is also back on the New Orleans Saints roster. All right, it's after further review. We're going to knock out a quick break. When we come back, looking forward to this. Buddy Jeff Cameron from warchant.com, also a longtime radio host in the Tallahassee area. He's going to join us next to preview the Seminoles, everything we need to know about Florida State before LSU and the Noles kick it off on Sunday night in the Dome. Stick around here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darin James & Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find them. Agent225.com. That's agent225.com for Darin James. It doesn't matter if you're buying or selling, if it's commercial or residential. Darin will work harder than anyone to get your home sold faster for more money. And I always tell you, Darin works to empower his clients, whether you're buying or selling. So check out Darin's social media. He's always got great info and insights and tidbits into the market itself. Like right now, he's got reasons to buy a home even in today's shifting market, where you're moving past the frenzy of the past year, and it's opening doors. If you're thinking about buying a home, call Darin. Let him help you, educate you, empower you, so you feel like you're making a great decision. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. Top 1% of realtors in America. You need to sell your home? You need Darin James.
Think real estate, think Darin James.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
To be able to play in a spotlight game, and it's great. I mean, I want the world to see what I get to coach, and the young men I get to coach. And these guys, they work really hard, and I just want them to be their best in the moment, and that's what we're pushing for, that's what we're striving for. So yeah, we will get a real glimpse of where we are come Sunday night.
That is Mike Norvell, met with reporters on Thursday after the last open practice there in Tallahassee before the Noles head to the Dome. Let's preview the game from the Florida State side. Our buddy Jeff Cameron, good enough to join us, host of the Jeff Cameron Show on 93.3 in Tallahassee, also from warchant.com. Hey, Jeff, great to chat, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, Matt. How are you, buddy?
Man, I'm doing awesome. I'm ready for some football, man. I know you are as well. We've talked about this game for so long. Glad that it's about here. What is sort of the general mood or vibe around Florida State heading into Sunday?
I think it's cautious optimism. I feel like most Florida State fans realize that this is a better version of Florida State football than we've seen the last 2 to 3 years. How much better is in question. And I think a lot of people realize given LSU's talent, that this will be a good barometer to see exactly where they are. I think they know, like I said, that Florida State's in store for a better season, but nobody really knows, does that mean 6-6, 7-5, maybe for this team right now, 8-4, is that possible? If that is possible, you have to beat LSU in a close game in New Orleans.
Jeff, what did you learn about Florida State in the game against Duquesne?
Not a lot. I don't think physically you could take too much away from a game like that. They were bigger, stronger, faster across the board, as you would expect them to be. So drawing too many conclusions is a bit dangerous. I will say, Matt, I think that they probably leaned into the identity of this team and what Mike Norvell wants them to be, which is to run the football and be extremely physical. They didn't show much in that game, but they certainly ran the ball a ton, and I don't think they're going to vary that too much on the season, at least in terms of that being who they are. Now, they have to get better at throwing the ball when you have to throw the ball, and that's something they'll be tested on, obviously, against LSU and the better teams that they face on the schedule, but they weren't forced into it against Duquesne, and so I think they decided to just play it straight ahead, because I will tell you, Matt, that Florida State the last 3 years, even in games in which they had a decided advantage, especially up front, which hasn't been too many of them, they still have failed to really establish that running game in a way that showed dominance. they could trick their way into some yardage, and they had some talent there in the backfield where maybe a broken player or two, certainly Jordan Travis's legs sufficed to upgrade those numbers on the ground, but they really haven't bullied anybody. So I think they just tried to lean into their identity last week.
Of course, when Alex Atkins, who's the offensive line coach, is the offensive coordinator, it stands to reason that he may want to go try to play some bully ball. You kind of alluded to this. Like, do you expect that to be the game plan again this weekend offensively for Florida State to try to line up and run it at LSU?
I think it'd be a mistake to do that, but I will say this. They ran, in the second half in particular, quite a bit of outside zone against Duquesne. I don't think you'll see them do that against LSU because I don't think they can do that against LSU's defensive line. But I do think that they won't steer too far away from setting things up off of the run. Now, I think they will be bullheaded enough to say, okay, 2nd and 8, you can live with that. You can't put Jordan in a position to have to throw the ball behind the chains consistently, but you also can't try to be something you're not. So, no, I don't suppose they'll just simply line up and try to run the ball, certainly not to the outside. But I do think that, again, you got to utilize Jordan's legs. So running the football in some capacity with a deep backfield is something they're going to have to find a way to do, at least to a reasonable level of success.
Jeff, how good is the Florida State offensive line?
I think it's average in the ACC. So that would tell you not good in the SEC. That would tell you that they're a below-average offensive line amongst Power 5 teams. But it might also tell you that they're worlds better than they were a year ago, 2 years ago, certainly. The offensive line has been the Achilles heel for Florida State for some time. There are myriad reasons for that. But I will tell you they're deeper and they're bigger, and they have some options to move around. They used a ton of combinations last week. I don't think they've completely settled on the 5 that they love. But a year ago, if I had told you that a guard got hurt or a tackle got hurt and they had to play a replacement player, I would have told you that they were going to lose that matchup. I'm not so sure anymore that they can't find 2 or 3 guys that they feel very good about supplanting at those positions if need be.
I do want to flip and talk some defense as well, but if Jordan Travis has to make plays through the air, is he, with those receivers, capable of doing that against LSU?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not going to tell you that they're going to line up and put the game on his arm, but I would tell you that is another area of optimism for Florida State fans because last year's receiving core I thought was the worst in the ACC. This year they'll come into a season with a dependable guy in Micah Pittman. I think they feel very good about what Johnny Wilson provides them with the 6'7" frame and his catch radius. They're better at that position than they were. They're going to have to hope that Deuce Spann, probably the most athletically gifted of the bunch, can really take a leap forward. He's a guy that played quarterback, went off to Illinois from the state of Florida, went there, only played 1 year, had 5 receptions as they transitioned him to a receiver. But if you look at his skill set, he's very talented. He's come a long way since arriving in the spring. He could kind of be the X factor for the receiving core. But they're much better. He has some options he didn't have a year ago. If he has to throw the ball in key situations, he finally has some targets. And he's got to get better himself, and I think this is a great test for Jordan.
Jeff Cameron's with us, warchant.com, host of the Jeff Cameron Show on 93.3 in Tallahassee. He'll be in the Dome on Sunday for LSU and Florida State. Let's flip it over and talk defense. And, Jeff, every time you and I have had the chance to talk, we've spoken so much about both of these offensive lines kind of being an Achilles heel and both defensive lines being a real strength. So we know Florida State lost their great bookends, those great defensive ends from a year ago. How have they been able to maintain that level of play, losing talent there on the outside?
Well, I think they're really good in the interior, Matt, and you know I've talked about that some. I think that not only are their 2 starters very good, Fabian Lovett and Robert Cooper, but I think they've got depth behind them. I know they like Tatum Bethune at linebacker up the middle, the transfer from UCF, really productive player, sideline to sideline. So to answer your question about the defense, I think they're going to make some folks one-dimensional. It certainly helps when you know what's coming if you can do that. But we don't know, and it's a big question mark on the season, just how good McClendon and Jared Burris and Briggs can be. I like Briggs a lot. He's a bigger guy and a versatile guy that you can move from outside to inside. He has that kind of versatility. But it is a question mark, Matt. I don't know if we know that they can sustain throughout the season, anything close to the kind of production they got from Tremaine Johnson and Garrett Thomas last year, I'd be very shocked if they came close to approaching those numbers. But if those two, if the edge positions can at least be, let's say, average, and they're real good up the middle, then I think certainly Florida State's defense will be the strength of the team.
I want to talk about the secondary a little bit, because if you ask anyone affiliated with LSU, this doesn't matter if you ask coaches or players or analysts or fans, they're going to tell you this receiver group is the strength of the team. They've got depth and size and speed and athleticism, and it's just really good. LSU's churned out a bunch of good receivers over the past 20 years, and this unit should be no different. How's Florida State defensively on the outside? Will they be able to match up with Butte and Neighbors and Besh and all those guys?
Well, I think therein lies the big problem for Florida State defensively in this game. I think LSU, as you just noted, will do that to a lot of people, and that's why they're counting on the defensive line to get to Jaden Daniels if it's he who starts. And we both think I believe that he's going to.
Yeah.
Look, Duke Cooper didn't play last week. Amarian Cooper, he didn't play last week. If he doesn't play this week, I think Florida State's got problems. But as far as I understand it, he is set to go. Renardo Green has kind of been a surprise for Florida State. I don't think a lot of people thought when we started spring football on into the fall camps that he would be the guy to win the job. But he's played consistently well. Now, this is a different kind of test. Where Florida State has to hope that they're consistent is at the two safeties. I know you asked about the outside, but I do think that Akeem Dent and Jamie Robinson, two talented players, both guys will play in the league. They've got to be able to help out these corners because there's not a lot of depth there. Not quality depth, proven depth. I like Kevin Knowles a lot. He's a guy that I think will play consistent football. But behind him, it's anybody's guess. There are names I could tell you, but not guys that are proven.
You know, Jeff, I think this is. I think we're just destined for a close ball game. There's probably some fans of both sides that don't think so, but I do. I think this is gonna be a one-score game. And in games like that, special teams often matter a lot. And LSU's replacing all of their specialists, like literally everybody. What's Florida State like in the third phase?
Well, they've been terrible. Frankly.
Okay.
Yeah, Matt, they've been terrible each of the last couple of years. In particular, in returning punts, actually catching punts has been a real obstacle for this team. It's been maddening to watch the amount of yardage they give up simply by not catching the football. Now, I think they feel like they've remedied that with Micah Pittman. We'll see. They didn't have a great day on Saturday, I didn't think, against Duquesne. And then the return game, the decision-making's been poor, at least in terms of when to take it out, when to fair catch and take it at the 25. It's been strange. There's been timidity there. I'm not real certain why they haven't been at least marginally better than they've been on special teams because they rep it constantly. So that is a source of much consternation amongst Florida State fans. If they're not better in this game, in a close game, as you correctly note that it could very well be, then I think they're in trouble. And as far as punting field goals go, I think they're above average punting. Mastrobuono's a nice punter, and then I think Fitzgerald is also average. So I would look to him and say, I think anything 40 in, you feel pretty good about. Anything 45 or more out, you don't feel that great about. And, it's a wait and see sort of thing.
Jeff, before you go, what is Mike Norvell's blueprint to win this ballgame?
Well, I think he's got to find a way to win first down and get LSU going sideways. I think sideline to sideline. I don't think you're going to have much success against that interior. I would utilize Jordan Travis early in the game with his legs. I'd also have him throw on first down, on neutral downs. I think he can win some one-on-ones with Johnny Wilson and set up second and short. If success rate is good on first down, they can run tempo, Matt. And with him, if you can get a defender in a 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5 kind of conflict where they've got to play honest, Jordan Travis can really hurt you in situations like that. Obviously, his success rate diminishes greatly, or at least it has so far in his career, on any sort of 2nd or 3rd and obvious. And when he's got to throw it into tight windows, I think everybody kind of holds their breath a little bit. I think he's improved in that area, but not enough to carry a team in the passing game without the rushing attack being, what it has to be. In particular, him running the football.
Nole fans coming to New Orleans?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a game that a lot of folks have circled. They're excited about. I'll make mention of this. This is not kissing up to LSU fans, but I think most Florida State fans have had a great experience with LSU fans in the past, whether it be the great baseball rivalry. We went up and covered that in Baton Rouge in the postseason a few years back.
Yeah.
Certainly, I think anybody that's ever been around LSU fans understand the passion. These are two very passionate fan bases. Both sides want to win, but I think this seemed like a big party to a lot of Florida State fans some time ago. So they bought up their tickets. They'll be there.
We're just, we're counting hours now, which is fun that we're actually going to get some football soon. Jeff Cameron, make sure you follow him on Twitter at JCameronShow. Hosts on the Jeff Cameron Show on 93.3 there in Tallahassee and warchant.com. Jeff, we appreciate it, man. Enjoy the game Sunday night.
Thanks, brother. Really appreciate it. Good talking to you, man. Be well.
You as well. That is Jeff Cameron. This is After Further Review. Appreciate Jeff. Jeff and I did a lot of reciprocal radio here in the past few weeks, so the guy's great. We really appreciate his insight. One of the things Jeff told me was, and Shea Dixon's coming up, so I need to go quickly here, but he said there was a point throughout the 90s where New Orleans actually kind of became boring because Florida State was there so often, and they were. I mean, just Sugar Bowls, and it was just they just wanted to do something different. And he said now it's incredible what Florida State fans would give to make a Sugar Bowl now, and that's why a lot of them are going to make this trip to New Orleans. They're excited to make the trip to New Orleans. A lot of LSU fans should be excited. Zalance Heard made his commitment to LSU just about 30 minutes ago. Shea Dixon of On 3 will join us to talk about it next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. You know where they are. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Of course, fall bedding plants, fall vegetable gardens, Johnny Naylor seed. Now is the time to start planting your fall vegetable garden. Right now. So get by Clegg's. Also remember, if you're a deer hunter, support a great local business. Putting out those plots. They've got Mobucks and Buckbusters and deer corn and rice bran and everything that you need. They got it at all 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. So bypass big box stores, support great local businesses like Clegg's Nursery. They've got your fall bedding plants. They've got Johnny Naylor seeds. They got everything you want for those plots if you're a deer hunter. And, of course, they're partnered with True Value Hardware Store. So at Clegg's, whatever you'd find at a True Value Hardware Store, you'll also find at Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, you know what to do. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party.
After further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, LSU picked up a commitment from Zalance Heard, one of the top 5 players in the state of Louisiana. Shea Dixon from On3 Sports. He's out of hibernation. Made that announcement today, I guess at midnight. Shea's new home is On3 Sports. He's good enough to join us now. Shea, your day one media tour continues. Thanks for the time. How are you?
Yes, I did. They had us up at midnight. A bunch of us made kind of around the country a jump over to On3. So I know why I was up at midnight, but one of the first responses was from you. So what are you doing up at midnight?
I work all the time. I was clipping probably TikTok videos of T-Bob cursing at Scone and T last night. That's probably what I was doing.
Hey, well, that'll drive the clicks.
Yeah, well, it's crazy. And you never know which one of his vulgar outbursts is actually going to take off. But that's why, Shea. That's why I was up replying to you. Hey, okay, let's start with Zalance Heard. Okay, by the way, congrats on On3. That's awesome. We're excited. We're excited for you. No doubt, it's a great opportunity. All right, let's start with Zalance Heard. When did and how did this really get done for LSU pushing to get this commitment?
I think it's one of those things that over the course of the spring and really into the summer, he came down for camp and all of that is kind of where things turned up. But from the perspective of them circling big targets in Louisiana this offseason with Coach Kelly, I think they looked at the board. They saw who all was out there. They saw guys that maybe were already set on leaving the state. They saw others that were already committed to LSU or whatever it might be. And then Lance Heard falls into that group of guys that were no doubt offers and takes, but it was how do you go get them? And I think the staff did a really good job of sort of laying the blueprint there of what they needed to do and then following through with it. His mom talked about the vision Coach Kelly sold and the staff sold and the relationship he's got with Brad Davis. And then he talked a good bit about not just the relationship he has with Brad Davis and the staff, but other people, J.R. Belton, who obviously is former West Monroe guy, Will Campbell, who was his former high school teammate. I think for the family and for Lance as a whole, it just all made sense that, hey, we can stay in state, high on your education. We want you to have that be a big factor in college, but also want you to have a chance to play high-level ball. And I think he's seeing it doesn't hurt. I mean, if anybody watched the commitment ceremony today at Neville, they mentioned it. It was the first thing they said after he committed. That if his high school teammate Will Campbell can go down there and start at left tackle, it would be pretty cool if he could follow suit and play on the offensive line at the same time. So this is a big one. I mean, it's not often on radio with you over 10, 15 years telling you that LSU just got the number 3 offensive tackle in the country, but they've done that now in kind of back-to-back years with him and Will Campbell.
Shea, is this just a one-off, or is this somewhat of maybe a sea change you're seeing in the state? Because the last time Louisiana had a prospect this big on the offensive line, it was probably Cam Robinson. Before then, we're talking about who's the kid out of Greg Robinson, maybe. I mean, it's been rare. Are you starting to see that more in Louisiana, where the state's developing more offensive linemen?
We'll see. It could be a little run here. It's just like quarterback, right? They have Arch and Eli and Ricky Collins. Well, not every year. Rarely do they even have one top 20 quarterback nationally in Louisiana, let alone 3 top 12 guys. So that's certainly a one-off. Now, with offensive tackle, we'll see. I mean, it's a state that traditionally has produced some interior offensive linemen, but not a lot of the, 6'5", 280 guys, that are pure offensive tackles. And we saw that with Will Campbell last year. We've seen it now with Heard, and don't sleep on Tyree Adams at St. Aug. He's ranked as the number 10 offensive tackle in the country and a top 100 player who's already committed to LSU. So between those three guys alone, you're getting three offensive tackles that, are about as highly ranked as you're going to find in Louisiana. You're right. You could go back before Will Campbell. Gosh, I hope I don't miss anyone, but it would be the Lael Collins and Cam Robinsons and Greg Robinsons and guys like that. Now we're spanning well over a decade.
Yeah, of course, Lael. I can't believe I left him off the list. With the commitment of and by the way, so does he go by Lance? Is that whatever he calls
Both.
him?
I think it seems like all his coaches at school and teammates and all that call him Lance. So,
Okay.
I'm guessing that's what he goes by.
Okay, so with adding Lance, and I look at the on three rankings, that bumps. It's Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Texas, and then there's LSU at 6. So it makes sense of this class right now for me, Shea. The big picture here with 22 commits.
Yeah, I think there's 6 in the kind of consensus rankings. I know if you're just looking at for instance, the on three ranking specifically, they're 5. So they're kind of in that flux range with Bama's 1, Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, LSU, Notre Dame, OU. So you're mixing it up with the who's who, right? And that's not unfamiliar territory for LSU to be in. The goal is, if Louisiana's giving you really high-level prospects and you don't have any competition here, and you can recruit, East Texas, and you can dip into Georgia and places like that, you should be finishing with a top 10 class. But for me, the caveat there would be that they're coming off back-to-back 500 regular seasons, a losing season a year ago, cleaning house completely minus the O-line coach, but from the very top to the strength staff to everywhere, turnover like we haven't seen in a long time. And there aren't many programs out there that then turn around and sit right back at number 5 as if nothing ever happened, as if they just kept on moving and kept on recruiting. Most of the times you take a hit there, and you're signing a top 20 class or a top 25 class. And I said it to you on the radio in the spring. I said the goal would be sign a top 20 class, sign a top 15 class, but get your evals right and make sure you're addressing needs. I didn't envision that they would start the season with a top 5 class. So it speaks to the job they've done.
He's on Twitter at Shea Dixon on 3 Sports. Shea, there's been this conversation about Brian Kelly and whether or not he can recruit. And I know that's been a hot button in the last week or so. I'm not sure how aware you are of that. But we have this evidence here of this class that he's building. How much of this is Brian Kelly's doing? How much of this is by de facto Brian Kelly, because his staff is doing such a great job putting this class together?
Well, I would say that de facto, sure, yeah, and that credits to him because he's the one who has to hire him. Any other time a head coach hires someone and they don't do well, whether it's on the field or recruiting, people blame the head coach. They don't even, you kind of skip past the position coach sometimes and say this is on the head man. So I certainly think he gets some credit for what they've done so far. And over time, we'll see we aren't even through a signing day yet. So we'll see what their first class looks like. And certainly over time what they look like. But you lose the academic hurdles of Notre Dame. You get a much more fertile recruiting base. Those things alone are going to allow you to recruit a little bit better. And certainly you've got a school that it has some rich football tradition, just like Notre Dame does. So not to that level maybe, but certainly in the past 20 years more so. And I would say that because of that, he's going to have a built-in advantage. And then you just couple it with his vision. Parents are very much for and really like his pitch of, the kind of theme is graduating champions, but how seriously in all these meetings he's taking academics and meeting with, academic advisors and what the setup will be and all the different things that kind of come with becoming a true student athlete. And I think sometimes, you sit on the radio for 3 hours and talk about the results and everything, and we analyze everything and we look at recruiting. But when they sit down with these parents, they don't want to hear about all that. They want to hear about how are you going to take care of their son when I'm finally letting him out of the house? Is he going to, be dedicated and get a degree and all these things? And I think that's a very big part of his pitch. And I don't think anybody can argue that right now it's not resonating.
Shea, before you go, what's next for LSU as far as this class? And I know today was kind of a pivotal day because they were able to start contacting prospects again around at midnight. So what's names to watch? What's next here in the immediate short term?
Yeah, so today is being September 1 is the first day that they can reach out and call juniors. So a lot of the staff and personnel folks were they went to Tiger Stadium last night, turned on the lights, and FaceTimed and called all the kids who are about to be juniors in high school, guys who are starting their junior year right now. And that made a big impression on those guys. They've already got a handful of commitments for next year and a top 5 class as well. I think they're ranked number 5 for next year. So you're sort of on that same trajectory, both for this current class and next year's class. But Heard was, we saw this big run, Matt, from July 1 to now. They went from 5 commits to 22 commits of guys who are, seniors in high school right now. That's a massive run. Nobody else in the country had that many commitments over that span. So that's great. But with that becomes the obvious slowdown. Like, you're not just going to keep getting 20 commits every 2 months. You're going to end up, eventually. This isn't the old school Ole Miss days. So you're slowing down a bit here. What are they, 22? My guess, there's not a cap on it right now, but they signed 27, 28 high school guys, something like that. Nowhere close to that kind of 50-50 split that they had on high school kids and transfers last year. I think a lot less transfers, a lot fewer transfers, and a lot more high school guys, and they're well on their way to that. But this was sort of the last big in-state domino, and now I think we see them obviously continue to recruit in the state, but guys are starting their senior year, and they turn their focus to that, and I think now the team, the staff turns their focus to the season, and the personnel side sort of turns the focus to getting guys in for games and keeping these kids committed and getting them a head start on next year.
LSU released a recruiting hype video today. That's how big of a deal it is right now.
I thought that was for me.
Well, it might be, Shea. I mean, you're back in the wild. By the way, I noticed on your Twitter that On3's got a great deal. Tell people about it if they're interested.
Yeah, we're giving it away for free, basically. You can sign up for a whole year for $1. So if you're listening, you want to join on, if you've been with me before or haven't, we're on the On3 network now, the Bengal Tiger. You can go to my Twitter at Shea Dixon. You can find the link somewhere, but yeah, $1 for a year. So everybody can get on board. $1
for a year. That's kind of crazy. Shea, congrats again, man. We appreciate the time. We'll talk soon.
They say put your money where your mouth is, and I'm putting up $1 here. So
okay.
That's what I'm going for.
All right, Shea. We'll see you, man. Thank you.
Bye, Matt.
All right, that's Shea Dixon. This is After Further Review. Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Today is the day you've been waiting for. Well, I mean, it's one of many days you've been waiting for. You've been waiting for football, and this is the first real binge-worthy day. Look, you had a lot of football on Saturday. We know that. It was a fun day to sit there and watch, but you've got real-life Thursday football tonight, and you can watch all of it at Pluckers. Nicholson just south of campus, Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana, award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, and college football on TV. Tonight and every Thursday, y'all's all-you-can-eat boneless buffalo bites. So, I mean, you have games that start at 6 o'clock, so in an hour and 12 minutes, and the last game tonight starts at 9:30 p.m. Central. Pluckers is open till midnight or later every night of the week, so go right now and just stay all night and eat as many boneless buffalo bites as you want for one low price. Eat them, drink beer, watch all the college football you want. Imbibe, binge, college football's here. Get on by and watch at Pluckers.
3 people walk into a bar. The first 2 order the same old margs. The third, Nuevo Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer. Crafted with real lime juice and a crisp tequila flavor. Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Mike Norvell did update a couple of injuries when he met with the reporters today in Tallahassee. I do want to sort of illustrate the contrast between the two wide receiver groups that we're going to see on Sunday. We'll get to that coming up after the top of the hour. Right now, Muso has Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
So yesterday we started updating you on practice squads, where LSU guys landed, at least the ones that we had available at that time. Turns out we nailed just about all of them. The only one we missed, because it wasn't available at the time, was Jontre Kirkland. Jontre Kirkland, after a really solid preseason with the Cardinals, a couple touchdowns, has landed on their practice squad.
Right.
Yep.
A bit.
Keep on trucking for Jontre Kirkland. Alex Bregman last night, the Houston Astros, they got the victory 5-3. Slow night by Alex Bregman's standards. 1 out of 4 and did draw a walk. So, I mean, he still played good baseball and made all the plays at third base and is hitting 267. But by his standards, slow night. Jake Fraley for the Reds entered the game as a pinch hitter, but really early. He went 1 for 4 in a pinch hit role. It was a single, drove in a run as well. Just continues the tear that he's been on since returning from the injured list. 244 on the season for Jake Fraley. And last night, a tough one, another tough one for Alex Lang. Blown save in the 7th inning, his 3rd blown save of the year. Also took the loss. 1 inning, 2 hits, both earned runs. Didn't walk anybody, struck out 1. The 2-run homer bidding and gave the Mariners a lead they eventually would not relinquish. 18 pitches, 12 strikes.
Blown save in the 7th?
For Alex Lang, yeah.
How did you get a blown save in the 7th?
That is a new one on me, I'll be honest. But it's got it right there in the box score. Blown save, 3rd on the year.
How is that a save opportunity?
I would think it'd be a hold, more of a hold opportunity there. Yeah, okay. That's what they have it down as.
Well, that's stupid.
I agree. I agree with that. So bummer for Alex Lang. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. That's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gentlemen, if you're going to pop the question, you're looking for a gorgeous diamond that will thrill her, make you a hero. Lee Michaels, they've had that on lock for 40 years. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, 2 locations in Baton Rouge Corporate, in Bocage, and the Mall of Louisiana. 9 locations in all, so find that location near you at LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, it's after further review. Sports Center's coming up. We're going to get you caught up on national headlines, everything you need to know. Mike Triplett in 20 minutes. Big news today, if you haven't heard. Marcus Maye, Saints safety, was arrested on an aggravated assault charge involving a weapon. We'll get the latest from Mike Triplett, talk Saints roster, all that good stuff in about 20 minutes. When we come back, mentioned it, Florida State head coach Mike Norvell met with reporters in Tallahassee today before his team headed to New Orleans. I want to update a couple of injuries, significant injuries there with the Seminoles, and also talk wide receivers for both teams. That's next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Michele Weighing and Measurement, Michele.com, Michele.com. Of course, Michele also is going to be one of our great sponsors this year on whiskey and wine throughout the season, so really excited about that and pumped to have Michele and the gang back on board. Of course, you go to Michele.com, you can hit the services tab, see all the services that they perform there at Michele Weighing and Measurement. Installations, calibrations, repairs, preventative maintenance for scales and other measurement equipment. You can ship your equipment to them, or they can come by and pick it up. Or if you have equipment that can't leave your shop or job site, they can come calibrate on site. It's Michele Weighing and Measurement, Michele.com, Michele.com. And as they're celebrating 75 years, they're also hiring. So any of their offices, including 3 in Louisiana, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lake Charles, if you're looking for a new career, join a company that's been doing it right for 75 years. Michele Weighing and Measurement, online at Michele.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Is Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports the Cavaliers get guard Donovan Mitchell in a trade with the Jazz. In return, Utah gets 3 players, 3 unprotected first-round picks, and 2 pick swaps in that deal. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the Broncos will sign quarterback Russell Wilson to a 5-year, $245 million extension. His deal now runs through 2028 and includes $165 million guaranteed. Could that deal move the needle on a new Lamar Jackson contract with the Ravens? ESPN's Jamison Hensley.
I think the best kind of the sweet spot for a deal to happen is after the season and before March 7th, as that's when they have to put the franchise tag on Lamar. I think between that point, I think is the time when a lot of negotiations, when that franchise tag deadline is out there, you know there's a lot of urgency.
Jamison Hensley on Barton Hahn. Serena and Venus Williams play a first-round doubles match at the U.S. Open tonight. Coverage at 7 Eastern on ESPN2.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. And now, a no-frills ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Here it is. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. That's it. See? Just a good old-fashioned, straightforward ad. See if you could save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock, quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. We are less than an hour away from kickoff. The Backyard Brawl renews. West Virginia at Pitt. They just rolled Coming to Your City College Game Day, doing a 1-hour feature here, getting you set for this Thursday night kickoff. SEC Network, you'll have Tennessee against Ball State. You also have another SEC team in action tonight with Missouri on ESPNU hosting Louisiana Tech. Man, we got some football tonight. Going to be a really fun night. Hopefully you enjoy it. And we got another hour taking you right up to kickoff. Mike Triplett in 15 minutes from right now. We'll talk some Saints. Mike Norvell met with reporters on Thursday after practice there in Tallahassee before the Seminoles head to New Orleans. And, he gave an injury update, but he also talked about his team adjusting to the atmosphere. And what's interesting is that, this is because Florida State's had a lot of turnover and because they haven't played in a lot of big games, that this is going to be a first for a lot of those guys.
You go on the road, you're going to feel the emotion. It's not always going to be a positive atmosphere for you. There's going to be a lot of things that are uncomfortable. There's probably only a handful of guys on this team that have ever played in a Superdome. I mean, they're going to have to go and get adjusted to that in the course of the game and just whatever the atmosphere is. But ultimately, I mean, it's our decision of what we want it to be, and you got to go out there and be as consistent and as disciplined and be able to execute in that moment for you to play your best.
It certainly sounds like this is going to be a very partisan LSU crowd. I know that Florida State announced they sold 30,000 tickets, or they sold their allotment. There was some talk, like we mentioned earlier in the week, that maybe they had some help with a brokerage that got involved there. So I don't know how many Florida State fans are actually going to be in the Dome on Sunday. I'll be surprised if it's not a heavy LSU crowd, but just the proximity, a lot of those conveniences benefit LSU in this game. And then there's also the injuries. Earlier this week, we talked about how healthy LSU has remained throughout this camp. Knock on wood as you're a couple of days away from the opener, but LSU hasn't had that real significant injury or injuries. That has happened at Florida State. We've talked about them losing a couple of linebackers, one who was certainly a key contributor, their leading active career leader in tackles. They've lost some depth at spots, and they've had some injuries on the offensive line. They had a Wisconsin transfer who was maybe expected to be the starting center. He's lost for the season. And then Maurice Smith, who is the starting center, didn't play last week because he's been hobbled. Today, when Mike Norvell met with media, he was asked for an update on Maurice Smith and receiver Johnny Wilson. That's the big 6'7" receiver who transferred in from Arizona State.
What feedback have you gotten from Maurice Smith as he's continued to work back?
I think Maurice is doing well. Like what I've seen, up to this point. Continue to see where it goes up to the game.
Do you have any injury updates on Johnny Wilson and the Martin Cooper?
I like what I'm seeing. We'll see where kind of same answer.
It's expected both guys are going to play. So Maurice Smith did not play against Duquesne. It's your starting center. I mean, it's significant having your starting center back, obviously. And they flipped a tackle into play center for the game against Duquesne. So your offensive line for Florida State looks more whole this week against LSU. But whenever you heard, we had Jeff Cameron on the show, and he was talking about that offensive line. It's a problem spot. It is. It's a problem. It's a worry spot for Florida State, especially against the LSU defensive front. But I think the biggest advantage in the game is LSU's receivers. I think that's where you have the most lopsided advantage. Florida State's secondary isn't great, and LSU's receivers are. LSU's secondary has a lot of questions, but Florida State's receivers aren't great. And that's, I think, the big difference is the ability to make dynamic plays. And so I wanted to kind of illustrate this a little bit. Johnny Wilson is the Arizona State transfer. And I hope I don't just pummel you with too many numbers. So I'm going to try to simplify this as best I can so you can understand where I'm coming from. Johnny Wilson is the Arizona State transfer I just mentioned. He had a catch for 51 yards. It was a deep shot down the middle against Duquesne. He got injured on that play, didn't come back, but it looks like he's going to play. He spent 2 years at Arizona State, now 1 game at Florida State. This is a guy who might be their leading receiver this year. In 2 years and a game, he's got 19 catches. As a freshman, he caught 6 balls for 89 yards. As a sophomore last year, he caught 12 passes for 154, and then he's got the 1 reception for 51 yards last week. 2 plus seasons, 19 catches. The other guy they're really counting on is Micah Pittman, who's the Oregon transfer. Micah Pittman spent 3 years at Oregon. This is his 4th year in college. He's now at Florida State. In 3 years and a game, Micah Pittman's got 42 catches for 591 yards and 2 touchdowns. Again, 42 for 591. And then their leading returning receiver is Kentron Poitier, who's a sophomore. For his career, he's got 12 catches for 145 yards. I told you I'm going to put some perspective on this. Malik Neighbors last year as a freshman and LSU's 4th receiver caught 28 balls for over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's more than Johnny Wilson has in his whole career. That's more than Kentron Poitier has in his career, and that's close yardage-wise, and more and double the touchdowns that Micah Pittman's got as a 3-year player at Oregon. That's Malik Neighbors, who was a reserve for LSU a year ago. Kayshon Boutte in 6 games. Again, I'm not trying to pummel you with numbers, but for perspective. Kayshon last year, 6 games, half a season. 38 for 509 and 9 scores. Kayshon Boutte in 6 games last year has had more production than Johnny Wilson, Micah Pittman, or Kentron Poitier have had in their whole careers combined. Like, total. Kayshon in 6 games outperformed Florida State's top 3 guys in their whole careers. That's the disparity we're talking about. That's not even considering a guy like Jack Besh, who we know is certainly capable. there are just so many options. If it's Jere Jenkins, if it's Kyron Lacey, Brian Thomas, Chris Hilton, y'all, that is the biggest differentiator in this game, is LSU's receivers. I think for LSU to have success in this ball game, it's going to be receivers making explosive plays. I don't know that either team is able to run the ball quite effectively. I think actually LSU's leading rusher in the ball game, I believe, is going to be Jaden Daniels. You can decide if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe we'll come back on Monday and LSU's offensive line will just be a road grader and, you know, the backs go for over 200 yards. Maybe that happens. I don't think it will. So, man, I look at LSU's massive advantage with their receivers. Get the ball to your receivers and let them go make plays. That's your advantage in this game, and that's going to be your advantage in a lot of games. So, as many questions as we have about the LSU secondary, guys that have played a lot of football, veteran guys that have played a lot, just haven't played together or at this level, they're going against a receiving core where none of the guys in their career have accumulated the production that Kayshon Boutte had in 6 games last year. It's just not a giant challenge. And it's Jordan Travis throwing the ball, who's not been a great passer throughout his career. Those challenges are coming. Make no mistake. When you see Will Rogers in that Mike Leach offense, that's going to be a challenge. When you play Tennessee, that's going to be a challenge. When you play Ole Miss, Alabama, those are going to be challenges for this secondary. This week ain't a challenge for LSU secondary. Florida State, I think, is going to struggle to move the ball. And I think LSU is going to struggle to run the ball. The team that's going to have the biggest advantage in one of those matchups is LSU's receivers against Florida State's secondary. Can you keep your quarterback upright, deliver the ball to these guys, and let them go make plays? If you can, I think that's LSU's best recipe for success. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans, you know the drill, GMFSmortgage.com. You can check them out online. Find a loan officer nearest you at GMFSmortgage.com. Just go to the website, GMFS Mortgage, hit loan officers at the top, and they'll get you started. If you're buying, building, or refinancing, GMFS Mortgage wants to be your lender for life. They are mine. They can do the same for you. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives. Okay, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you aboard with us here as we move through the 5 o'clock hour. The big story of the day, if you haven't heard, Saints safety Marcus Maye was arrested earlier today. What does it mean for the Saints? What does it mean for Marcus Maye? We'll talk about it with Mike Triplett, who's going to join us on Thursdays again this season. We kick that off when we come back next. And also, if you haven't heard, Lance Heard, the big offensive lineman out of Neville, he committed to LSU about an hour ago. So Brian Kelly stacks another big brick on that wall he's building around the state. It's AFR.
AFR.
Baton Rouge General Hospital expanding healthcare in Baton Rouge. brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. They will be closed on Labor Day. There are Labor Day closures if you want to check out the website to see their Labor Day hours. But remember, the Baton Rouge General, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, that allows clinical collaboration between your physician here in Baton Rouge and the experts at the Mayo Clinic there in Minneapolis. brgeneral.org to learn more. brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Of course, the Regional Burn Center at the Mid-City location, the Pennington Cancer Center at the Bluebonnet campus, the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital, and all of the Baton Rouge General Express Care locations. That's walk-in, urgent care, 7 days a week, all courtesy of the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Learn more about all the services that they provide, their incredible facilities, and, of course, the Mayo Clinic Care Network at brgeneral.org. For the Baton Rouge General Hospital, online, brgeneral.org.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt and Hill, The Early Line. And After Further Review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
The best things in summer are unofficial. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance.
available at the Acura Summer of Performance. This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, if you're driving home, don't go anywhere. Jimmy Ott will be here in about 30 minutes. No doubt he'll have some baseball picks for us, but also hopefully some college football picks as well. You want to play these games tonight, you can do it at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge right now. Every college football bet, new customer, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the promo code Baton Rouge, bet just $5 on a football game, get $200 in free bets, courtesy of the DraftKings Sportsbook. You got same-game parlays. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. You've got your up 7, which means, man, you bet on a team. If they get up 7 at any point in the game, they'll give you free money to wager with. Check out all the great promotions at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Bet just $5. Get $200 in free bets at DraftKings. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. One per new customer. Minimum $5 deposit and wager. $200 issued as 8 $25 free bets. Restrictions apply. See terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Licensing partner Gold Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-770-STOP. All right, let's chat with Mike Triplett, ESPN.com. Of course, he's on Twitter at Mike Triplett. Mike, we appreciate the time. How are you?
Doing well. How are you? A lot has happened since the last time we talked.
Man.
By the day.
Yeah, right. As if the roster cuts weren't a big enough swing, then the news with, obviously, Marcus Maye being arrested and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson being traded just 2 days prior. Where does that leave the Saints secondary, Mike?
Well, I mean, obviously, if Marcus Maye is going to miss time, then it becomes more of a concern. But it's premature to go from this to knowing for sure that he's going to miss time. He's actually facing a potential suspension from a DUI incident from back when he was with the Jets that was expected to come up at some point this season. This could exacerbate that. I mean, but this is obviously so early, unless the details are really bad and the Saints immediately decide to do something, it could be a while before it plays out, like what we're seeing with the Alvin Kamara situation. So it's tough to say that today's news means Marcus Maye is not going to be playing in week 1, but we know C.J. Gardner-Johnson won't be. And first of all, I don't know all the details of why the Saints decided he had to go, but by no means do the Saints think they got a good deal. I mean, the draft picks they got, it doesn't mean that suddenly Mickey Loomis and Kai Harley have no idea what value is. I mean, that shows you that they had made the decision to let Gardner Johnson go. I mean, I feel like the narrative would be different if they cut him. If they cut him, everybody would be like, what happened? What did he do wrong? But since they traded him for a 6th and 5th round pick, everybody's like, oh, the Saints got bad value. They should have traded. They clearly decided they wanted to move on. And it's disappointing they didn't get more for him. But that is a decision they made, and in part they probably made that because they did feel good about the secondary depth even without him. Nobody is better at defending the nickel on this current roster, but they do have a lot of guys who are good at it. First of all, there's some crossover with the things Tyrann Mathieu does, but then Bradley Roby is a really good third corner who could play in the nickel. P.J. Williams has played his best in the nickel. They drafted Alontae Taylor in the 2nd round. He could potentially grow into that role. So they do have a lot of candidates and options, but they didn't get better by trading him. Obviously, they lost a good player there.
Did he have a reputation, Mike, talking about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, of being a bad locker room guy?
I don't think I would use that terminology because I think he was well liked. But obviously we know. We've seen glimpses of his personality. We've seen him get punched by opponents. We've seen him get punched by teammates.
Right.
And I can only imagine that we've seen contract negotiations lead to rifts between team and player many times, and it really does appear that was probably part of the case here where. He was not handling he had a very different view of his value and what he found out the team's value was of him, and it seemed like that was maybe the last straw. Although I will say the fact that they added Tyrann Mathieu and the fact that they drafted Alontae Taylor kind of signals that maybe there was some forethought that they did not intend to sign him long term beyond this year, even way back then.
That's an interesting thought. He's on Twitter at Mike Triplett. So the first 53 come and go, Mike. I've been asking everybody, what were your impressions and maybe any big surprise?
No big surprises. I mean, the one thing that really stands out is, we talked all offseason about how a lot of people nationally especially are counting out the Saints, and locally we're higher on the Saints than other people are. Well, lo and behold, here's another roster where only one undrafted rookie could make his way onto the squad, and that includes one of their draft picks being placed on IR, another draft pick being cut. It's still a really hard roster to make because they have depth in a lot of areas. Maybe not as top-heavy as they've been. I mean, we've seen some top 100 lists that didn't have as many Saints on them as they used to. But it's still a roster that just has depth top to bottom. I mean, we know where the question marks are, including, how good they're going to be at quarterback and how good they're going to be at safety and how good they're going to be at left tackle. But pretty remarkable how hard it is still to make this roster.
Mike, where are the question marks, the biggest needs, as best you can tell?
Well, I don't think I would use the word needs at this point because I don't think there's anywhere where you can find someone off the street that's going to improve their team. Obviously, there are areas where they could upgrade if they went out and spent a lot of money, tight end being one of them. We still don't know for sure about the running back depth, even though Mark Ingram's looked really strong, so you got to feel pretty good about that. Defensive end would feel a lot better if we saw Marcus Davenport looking like, healthy and looking like he did last year when he was healthy. What else?
Linebacker?
Safety all of a sudden we said, linebacker. I knew there was one more. I'm sitting here going through the left to right on that. Watching it.
The one you didn't
Linebacker's in good shape if DeMarion Davis and Pete Werner are healthy, but it becomes a big question mark if either one of those guys is not on the field.
The one you didn't mention, Mike, that I'm all of a sudden a little leery about is offensive tackle, because while Hurst is healthy,
oh yeah, of course,
you don't have a backup option, and there are options in free agency. So I'm curious your thoughts when you look at them, you're restructuring a deal for Nick Vannett to free up some cap space. It looks like they're aligning the board to go make a move. What is that move? Is it? I mean,
well, no, I wouldn't say that. The Nick Vannett deal was one of those. I think he was very much on the roster bubble, and they that was a pay cut. That was not a restructure. That was a pay cut to remain on the team.
Okay.
To match with the role. I think he made it just over J.P. Holtz, who's on the practice squad, and if he wasn't willing to take a pay cut, they probably would have gone the other direction there. But so I don't think that it's a financial move. They have the cap space. They carved out all the cap space way back when they were pursuing a certain quarterback that was a sliding doors moment for this franchise. But so they're not, surprisingly, they're not one of the teams that needs to carve out the cap space one by one right now, because they did it all at the beginning of the offseason. But no, you're absolutely right. And you know, when Trevor Penny got hurt, I don't think Trevor Penny was going to win that starting job as early as week one. But he was an injury away from going in the lineup. He was going to spend a lot of time in the lineup as that sixth jumbo tight end, and he was going to get better and better. And it might have been a scenario where it was like, you know, Teron Armstead took over week 13 of his rookie year. It could have been that kind of situation. That's definitely a loss, and you definitely lose your safety net. But if the starting five offensive linemen on this team can remain healthy, which is a gigantic obviously, it's a pretty good starting five.
It is, and only one of the five last year stayed healthy, and it was your worst guy.
Yeah.
So, do you think it's possible they go bring in one of these veteran free agent tackles that's available, or, well, let me. I have another follow up, but do you think they'd bring in a veteran tackle?
I would not completely rule it out. They do like James Hurst though, and they do like their young talent. I mean, they kept Landon Young and Lewis Kidd, the only undrafted rookie who did make the team. They kept both of them on the active roster, and they put in a claim on the offensive tackle that just arrived today from the Bills. So now they have three young backup offensive tackles that they like. So they don't just need a body. And I don't, they like James Hurst enough that I don't think they want to relegate him to a backup job by going out. But it's an important enough job that it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Okay. I'd feel a lot better if you had some veteran depth there. What's going on with Ndamukong Suh?
I don't know for sure. He would make sense at a position where I think you could stand to upgrade him. And obviously they like Shea Tuttle, the nose tackle who's been around for several years now. I don't think Malcolm Roach will be sidelined for too long. Why am I drawing a blank on the other one who did make it? Because Huggins went on IR.
Well, I mean, you got Onyemata, of course, in the middle.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to think of the bigger. I mean, Onyemata is going to be there, and I'm trying to, who would line up next to Onyemata? That would be Suh would be an upgrade. There's no doubt about it. But if that was a position where they felt like they really wanted to upgrade, they've had ample time to do it, and they've never been shy about going out and trying to upgrade. So I have not seen a strong motivation for the team that feels like that's an area where they're missing a body. And obviously they kept 9 defensive linemen, and a lot of them are versatile. The big guy, and maybe the big guy, quote unquote, just won't play as often, becomes a part-time role when you have all these guys who are inside, outside guys, including Marcus Davenport and Cam Jordan to some extent, but obviously also Peyton Turner and Tano Passignon and Kentavious Street, who they brought in, and Malcolm Roach when he's on the field. A lot of these guys who are going to spend a lot of time at defensive tackle, but are a little bit more inside outside. But no, Suh would they'd make room for a guy like that for sure.
Mike, are you before you go? And of course, I mean the season kicks off a week from Sunday. Are you more optimistic than what the general national feeling is? Because I think you appropriately said it when we started here. This fan base is way more optimistic about this team than the outside voices are. Where are you right now?
Yeah. Well, I'm in between the two because obviously the fan base is slightly blinded by the Honey Badger and Jarvis Landry signings.
Okay.
So, but they were two excellent football fits, no matter what college they went to. I think two excellent signings for this team. Yeah, I mean, I am probably like everyone else locally in the. If this team was 9-8 last year, then they have to be better than 9-8 this year, because every single thing that could go wrong went wrong last year. I don't think, though, that, I am not one of the people who's thinking 12 wins, NFC South champions. I think they're capable of that. I think the one area where I would be a little more cautious is I don't think their defense could possibly play as good again as they played last year, especially down the stretch. I mean, they were maybe the best defense in the league in the second half of last season when they, like the 9-0 shutout at Tampa Bay and other games like that. But obviously the offense is going to be way better. I mean, I've pretty consistently picked them to be a 10-17. I could see better. I think it'd be really disappointing if it was worse. If they don't make the playoffs, it's a huge disappointment because they've taken last year's team and only added to it for the most part. We didn't mention Sean Payton being replaced.
Right.
I don't know how many wins you attach to that, but the on-field product should be better than last year's. So it'll be a big disappointment if they take a step back.
He's on Twitter at Mike Triplett. You can read his stuff at ESPN.com. He's with us every Thursday during football season. We appreciate it, Mike. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, be well. It's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break and continue. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Tell you every day, better coverage for less money. That's what Insurance Network of Louisiana does. 293-0450, 293-0450. AFR listener had been with Allstate for 18 years. Tell me if this sounds familiar. 18 years. Been with Allstate. For what he needed, coverage limits were pretty adequate. No adjustments needed, but spent a lot of time going over just to make sure that he had what he needed, and ended up saving $1,700 annually on his auto coverage. Moved his homeowners and flood over as well. So didn't have savings, but got better coverage. That's what they do at Insurance Network of Louisiana. Saved $1,700 on auto and got better coverage. 293-0450. 293-0450. Call today. Let them shop for free. 293-0450.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
As a community bank, B1 Bank invests in relationships with the people and businesses we proudly represent. Our B1 bankers are here to help simplify the complicated, understand your needs, and make managing your finances easier. At B1 Bank, we offer an array of solutions to help simplify your transaction needs. B1 Bank, one highly personal banking experience. Visit us online at b1bank.com for more information.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Well, you got a ton of football tonight, a dozen games or so. Tennessee will be on the SEC Network against Ball State. Missouri's in action tonight on ESPNU. The big one on Fox coming up is in the Big Ten, which is Penn State visiting Purdue. So you got a lot of college football and a lot you can bet on. Otterlocks in about 10 minutes from right now. So we'll talk to Jimmy, any bets that he may like. One of the things that we'll be doing tomorrow, no doubt, is recapping tonight's ball games, getting you ready for LSU Florida State on Sunday, and waiting on word from the college football playoff. The managers are set to meet on Friday to decide about college football playoff expansion. This has been a gigantic topic because tomorrow will be and should be a pretty seminal day in the future of college football, as the future of the format is expected to expand tomorrow. The decision on when it will expand. So here was Desmond Howard on college football playoff expansion today on Get Up. Do we have it? Okay. Do you have Spears? Don't worry about it. Okay, go.
It's evolution. That's what's happening. We saw the NFL go up to 7 teams in the playoff. It's what's going to happen. First, it's the financial ramifications. You make more money. I've always been what Dad said. I've always been the guy to think about the athlete. Like how much on their body, how much of a toll are you taking on them by adding a game or having to add extra weeks to the season? But ultimately, I look at college football now as almost the NFL G League based on NIL and the things that you're able to do now and how the game is ever evolving. So yeah, go ahead and expand it, let more teams get in, and it'll drive prices up, and we'll all be excited about it, and we won't talk about a damn expansion once it happens.
The two things that Swagoo talked about there, one was about toll on the body with more games. There's two things. Number one, I've said for many years you need to contract games in the regular season. You don't need 12 if you're going to play layups. I don't need body bag game. I don't need LSU Southern. I don't need LSU New Mexico. I don't need LSU UAB. I do not need it in my life. I'd rather play 9 games, just eliminating those, than 12 games with those 3 garbage games that nobody wants to see. All it is a gate receipt. We've talked about this for years. So there's one answer to that objection. But there's finances associated. When you got to pay for everything, when you got to pay for what you spend, you need those games. So I get why they're not going anywhere. But what I will say is if you're worried about expanding the postseason to 12, that's really only going to affect 6 teams. Because you'll have 12 in your playoff, which is essentially their bowl game. Half of them are going to lose. So 6 will end up playing an extra game. 6 teams will play 1 extra game. Okay. Do you want to play for a championship or not? Do you want to have an equitable postseason? Again, you do it in every other level of football. You not only the NFL, you do it in high schools. You get to a state championship, you play 15 games, 10-game regular season, you win. You play 5 playoff games or whatever it may be. So I just don't need to hear it. It's a stupid argument. Like it's okay to play that much football in high school, in the FCS, Division II, the NFL, but not major college football. It's just a stupid argument. I'm not saying Swagoo was arguing that he wasn't, but that is one of the objections you hear, which is nonsensical. So we should find out tomorrow. The College Football Playoff Managers are meeting. They're going to vote on the future of the College Football Playoff, and it should be a historical day in college football where everyone's expecting they're going to go to 12. The only question is, do we get there 2024 or 2026? We should find out tomorrow. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned. Because they move so many Volkswagens, you know what you do. You go buy a new car, you usually trade in your old one. So at South Point Volkswagen, they've got a great selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. All different makes and models, trucks and SUVs. You can go to the website, hit the used vehicles tab. You can search the inventory. Yeah, they get certified pre-owned Volkswagens, but all makes and models. Shop by year, make, model, body style, price. Narrow it down right there at South Point Volkswagen. southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? If you missed it, Ryan Clark was here in hour number 1, and RC fired up to have RC back with us on Thursdays again. We're back into our football game week show schedule where Cole Kubelik will be with us on Mondays, and Sean Salisbury will be with us on Tuesdays, and so on. And RC's going to be with us on Thursdays, and I'm excited to have him. And, you know, RC's got a great perspective because, as you know, his son Jordan plays at Arizona State, so he's been a teammate of Jaden Daniels these past couple of years. Arizona State does play tonight, so RC was really good to join us in hour number 1 from Tempe, where, you know, the Sun Devils getting ready to play Northern Arizona tonight. So RC flew to Arizona for the game tonight. I know he's coming back tomorrow, but anyway, I asked him about Jaden Daniels, and RC and I have had that conversation a lot privately, off air. I don't know that we've had the Jaden Daniels conversation on air yet, but what he said, again, this is a guy who was an all-conference safety at LSU, played 13 years in the NFL, trains defensive backs, is around the game intimately. This is what RC said about Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels, after his freshman year, and this is honesty for me, I said at ESPN, getting ready to do Get Up, he's going to be a Heisman finalist one day. Jaden Daniels was the reason I was wrong about Justin Herbert. I got an opportunity to watch Justin Herbert in his last year at Oregon face Jaden Daniels, and Jaden just totally outplayed him, showed up bigger in important clutch moments, made huge plays to win the game. And I was like, if this dude is a top 10 pick, Justin Herbert, then Jaden Daniels is going to win the Heisman one day. I think it was some of the lack of continuing to put people around him. I want to say he had 2 or 3 different offensive coordinators, but from a standpoint of what he can do with his legs, arm strength, he has everything he needs to be successful.
That's bold. What RC has told me in the past is, Jaden Daniels, the skill set, the talent, the ability is special. It's Heisman-like is how he phrased it. He said consistency has to come. And if it does, it could be special. So we'll probably get a first glimpse of that Sunday in the Superdome when LSU takes on Florida State. If you missed the RC interview, you can catch it on demand at 1045ESPN.com. Of course, AFR On Demand is brought to you by Brett Golf, or on the Watch 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. You can go back to the start. It was the top of the show, the very start of the show. Our first segment was RC, and we'll get it up on the After Further Review LSU YouTube channel as well. So if you want to catch all of our content on video repurposed, it's on the Watch 1045 ESPN YouTube channel where you can get the full shows, or the After Further Review LSU channel, the After Further Review Saints channel to get our LSU and Saints content. While you're there, please subscribe up, and if you're watching live, smash the like button. We appreciate it. Remember, however you're watching us live right now, Saturday for Eagle 98.1 Game Day, you'll be able to watch with Hanny and Musso pregame, and then when T-Bob and I go live for Whiskey and Wine from Don Juan on Sunday, you'll also be able to watch exactly how you're watching right now. So make sure you're subscribed up to the channel. Every time we go live, you'll be able to watch us however you're watching us right now on the Watch 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. Okay, it is After Further Review, y'all. Final break. We'll come back, get some Otter Lock. Steve Otter's got baseball picks. No doubt he'll have some football picks for us tonight. We'll get to that next on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time, or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 Hour Air, where you see 5-star reviews like this all the time. This one came in from Richard Duke, who said, Ronnie was our technician and did a fantastic job. Nothing at all negative to say. The company was excellent throughout. Haley was very positive and professional on the phone. Ronnie was equally great at our house. Great communication all around. All positive things to say. Nothing negative whatsoever. I'll continue to use this company for sure. It's the experience so many have. And the internet hates everything but River City's 1 hour air. The 5-star Google reviews that keep piling in year after year after year. Over the last 40 years, they've developed legions of great customers and people who will sing their praises, and I'm in that number as well. It's River City's 1 hour air. Look for the yellow trucks and vans with a giant clock on the side for River City's 1 hour air.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. One thing left to do, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. I'm for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks, presented by Workbox Services. For over 20 years, Baton Rouge's leader on on-site construction, industrial, and residential services.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and of an incomprehensible, the Ott Father himself. Jimmy Otter, how are you?
Doing good, man. Just about 10 minutes from kickoff.
Yeah, man.
Football, baby.
We got a full slate of Thursday night college football games. I'm curious how much baseball, how much college football are you going to play tonight? Are you going to play both?
No baseball.
Okay.
No baseball tonight.
All right.
And so let's finish those win totals. You ready?
Yep.
Kentucky under 8.
Okay, wow.
And, Kentucky under 8. Man. The receiver they lost was really good. I just think it's going to be tough. Kentucky with expectations, man. I mean, I can't see 9-3 is going to be tough. I mean, 7-5 is a lot more doable than 9-3. It's just that simple. Levis, everybody touts him as a prospect. He wasn't that good that last year, especially with a good running game. That touchdown to interception ratio was not impressive with the running game. I'm going Kentucky under 8. Central Florida over 8.5. And Gus Malzahn, the running quarterback. Did I give you that one yesterday?
I think you might have given us UCF 2 days ago.
Okay. I'm trying to go through Arizona State under 6.
Oh, wow.
This is that's a little bit of a time bomb program. That thing's about to explode anytime. And guess who their first 2 conference games are? Utah and USC. Oh, just what the doctor ordered to try and set that thing off the rails. So they're going Arizona State under 6.
Okay.
So I give you Memphis. I give you Memphis under 7.5.
All right, Memphis under 7.5.
Okay, and I think that's about it. Ohio under, Ole Miss over, Air Force over, Georgia Tech under. I give you Georgia Tech under. That's my favorite one.
You did give us Georgia. That's your favorite one is Georgia Tech under 3.5?
Yes. They got one rent a win, and then there are 3 non-conference games at Georgia, at Central Florida, which is good, and then Ole Miss at home.
Wow.
Thanks for shopping. So, see you, Jeff Collins. You won 3 games a year without that schedule. Now, good luck.
Wow.
And they also probably the worst Power 5 team that didn't lose their coach as far as in the loss department as far as the transfer portal.
Okay.
A lot of teams won the transfer portal, some lost, especially the mid-majors like we talked about last week, Wyoming, Hawaii, and in Nevada. They were horrible last week, even though Nevada covered, but +5 turnovers took care. All right, tonight, West Virginia, my favorite pick tonight, +7.5, and the money line +250. Both teams have USC transfers at quarterback. Both teams have new offensive coordinators. Both teams return their entire offensive line, tackle to tackle. Pitt's defensive front is pretty good. West Virginia returned 6 of their top 7 defensive linemen. It's a big transition stylistically, going from Dana Holgerson to Neil Brown, and it's in his 4th year right now. This is one of the better, the most improved teams in college football this year. I talked about them over 5.5 earlier in the week, and it's one of several transfer quarterbacks that's reunited with either its coordinator or its head coach, Graham Harrell. Remember, they only had 1 game for that air raid when he tore his ACL, and he looked pretty good in just a limited action. So West Virginia tonight over Oklahoma State in Central Michigan. That's a massive outlier that last year for Mike Gundy, that really good defense. They lost 9 of 11 starters on defense and their defensive coordinator. They get back to the mean. Central Michigan has the nation's leading rusher returning and a pretty good offense. They like to run pace in the MAC. So we're going over 50.
I'm looking at 58.
Yep, there you go.
Okay.
Over 58. I like Central Michigan in the points as well. And my buddy Matt Human's a regular contributor to the show. He graduated from Purdue, so when he fades Purdue, I listen. Going with Penn State, -3.5. I'm not crazy about the pick, but I'm leaning on Matt for that one.
Okay, Matt Human. So you said he had Penn State. You're laying the 3.5 with Penn State.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
And then one more. I had a question. You did say with West Virginia, you like the money line and West Virginia +7.5. You're playing them both.
Yeah. Like normal play, whatever your bankroll is. I'm doubling up on West Virginia on the spread. It may be like 20% of my bet on the money line. Trying to make a little lift right there too.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right, man. I've got a full slate of games. By the way, I'm glad to hear you say West Virginia. Because I actually, last night on the podcast with T-Bob, I picked West Virginia to win the game. I look at Pitt a little bit, Otter. I'm curious your reasoning. I know you talked more about West Virginia, but how much of this is Pitt with no Kenny Pickett, no Jordan Addison, no Mark Whipple? I mean, they lost the heartbeat of their ACC championship team from a year ago.
Yeah, no question. It's been a long time since Pitt had the first quarterback taken in the draft.
Right. I mean, best quarterback since Dan Marino?
1 minute remaining.
It's been a long time since they had the Bolitnikoff Award winner. And, what does he do? He's such an a-hole. He runs off his OC as well, with Mark Whipple. So good luck, Narduzzi.
Well, I mean, they had Larry Fitzgerald, but that was, early 2000s, maybe 03, 02, whenever they had Fitzgerald win the Bolitnikoff.
Yeah,
but it's been 20 years,
Yep,
So
very, very good. And for what it's worth, the secondary market all cleaned out by West Virginia fans making a short trip to Pittsburgh. So,
all right.
It's going to be fun. Panties laying 35.5. That's the biggest number you can find with Tennessee. So,
Okay.
My friend Charles Truckergriff.
They are at Jolie Pearl on this and every football Thursday.
Big on the handy. Big on the time.
Get out of here. All right, Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us. See you, Otter. Musa, Paulie, thanks so much for all the hard work. Y'all have a great night. Enjoy the football. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020. See 2020? Call 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. WilliamsonEYE.com. That's the Williamson Eye Center. Give them a buzz. They helped me. I had LASIK, about 4 years ago now, and I'm still I had LASIK on September the 11th. It's been almost 4 years to the day that I had LASIK, and I still am seeing better than 2020. People often say, man, LASIK, best decision I ever made, best money I ever spent. I heard people say that for years, and I get it now. Just to be able to wake up in the morning and see, to not have to worry about shoving contacts in my eyes or glasses at night when I take my contacts out, or if I could see or keeping up prescriptions. Just open your eyes and see. It's an amazing gift. It's possible. If it's LASIK, if it's PRK, if it's the lens replacement, which Jimmy had, if you want to see 2020 without contacts or glasses, the Williamson Eye Center can help. Go for that consultation. 924-2020. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEYE.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information.